Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 208. We are missing MVG tonight, but everyone else is actually here. Max returns. Max, guy, how's it going?
I'm back from the mountains. It was nice to take a couple weeks off. I had a lot of people tweeting me that they missed me on the Spawncast. I appreciate that, but I just beat Balan Wonderworld, so I'm in a bad mood. But hi, everybody.
Oh, you're going to go hike that mountain again then.
Yeah, true. I'm going to go up there and throw my copy off.
Oh, man.
Like the ring in Mordor.
Yeah, Max back. All right, cool. Then we have OJ, Player Essence. How's it going tonight?
It's going pretty good. It's good to be here. Got some cool games to talk about. Obviously, big game launch, so I'm very excited to be here. And I was paid handsomely to answer the question whether I'd be on the Spawncast or not this week. This week was pretty good, so I appreciate you guys.
All right, good.
Good for that.
And we have Sean sporting the classic Mortal Kombat t-shirt there. How's it going, Sean?
Doing good. Good week. Excellent game came out. I've been playing a hell of a lot more than I thought I would.
You already beat it, so.
No, but now I got all the high tier monsters. There's all new monsters.
You beat Monster Hunter the day it came out.
No, it took me. I got it Thursday, and it took me. I didn't beat it till Friday.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean, actually, I shouldn't ask that on because it might be a spoiler. I was going to say how many stars does it go up to for them to see where I am exactly in it?
They say at the beginning.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, how much? Like what the limit is? Like
I don't
they
read
give you like
that
1
stuff.
star, 2 star. Okay, we'll go over that and here soon. We have Miss Click here. Click. How's it going?
Yes, I'm here.
Good to have Click on. I saw there was a stream between a bunch of people actually playing Monster Hunter earlier, so I know at least a lot of people here have played it. So.
Yeah, my internet went out like the last 15 minutes, so I didn't know if I was gonna make it tonight.
Right in the middle of we were fighting, and right in the middle of it, Click just disappears.
I dipped, man. I dipped.
Yeah, she just disappeared. We're like, oh, okay, well, we
I
can
got
still
tired of
fight
it.
this. Yeah, she had enough. She had enough of that.
Yeah.
Then we have one of 6 owners of Balon Wonderworld, Jordan Fringe.
That's me. Glad to be here. Glad to talk about a game I'm not playing. And thanks everyone for 40,000 subscribers on my channel.
Oh no, I'm serious. He bought it. Hold it up there, Jordan. Hold up the game. Show it off.
I did it.
There we go.
I was told by Retro Gaming Tube 85 to invest in this. He said you're gonna want to buy Balon, whether it's great or sucks. You're gonna want to own it. So I invested.
But I didn't even buy it.
Then I've been duped.
Dang.
I've
And
been
you're a fraud.
bamboozled.
RGT fraud? RGT
No,
Retro
I
Gaming
played the
fraud?
demo.
What?
Bamboozled.
Look, I bought this instead, the collector's edition of Monster Hunter Rise. I got the game for free from Capcom, and I still bought the game because
You told me you forgot that you had bought it and it was showing up.
Yeah, I mean I did, but I'm glad I did because you see it's going for like
calls him like that, bro. Just like I'm saying.
no, but like I kind of remember buying it, but like I got the email from Amazon. They were like, "Oh, it's on delivery," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I did buy that." But yeah,
Dude, I'm jealous. That looks good as hell.
it's going for like $200.
I would just leave it sealed. Yeah. I think,
Oh yeah, I'm leaving it. I got no reason to open
And how
it.
much is Balon going for?
It should be 0.
It should be free.
$30 now. It's
Just call Square Enix like, hey, can I get a copy of Balon? Yeah, no problem. We'll send it with your shipping address.
Yeah, here you go, Mr. RGT.
Then we have Nate the Hate. Nate, how's it going?
Going well. Didn't
Good to
play
have-
Balan Wonderworld, so my week is better
Sorry.
than most.
Boo. This is bullying.
Good to have Nate here. Nate was recently corroborated on some of his info, so we'll give him like a couple of seconds to say I was right and all of that, and then we'll go over that though for fun. And then we have Evan, of course, minding the chat, all of this. I don't know. Did you get Monster Hunter this week?
Oh yeah, I played it on stream
did.
for like 6
You
hours
were trying to
yesterday.
figure out if you were gonna buy it because it's going to PC as well.
Yeah,
but,
I figured I'd just get it because we're gonna talk about it here. So
Yo,
good.
you know what they really need to do just real quick? I mean, they really need to make that cross save when it comes
Yeah.
to PC. Like,
That'll be cool.
they probably won't.
They really need to. Like, because I'm not starting over, man. I want to get the PC version, but I'm not starting over. So
we'll see how all that goes down when it comes up. So we do have a giveaway tonight. We're going to do the Magnum Malo amiibo, giving this away. We actually have Evan has dropped the link in the chat, I think already, or he's about to. So it's also on Twitter. I put a tweet out. You can just go join. It's just a free entry on Gleam. And before we end the night, we'll go ahead and choose the winner. We'll get the email, and then we'll go ahead and ship this out to him. Whoever wins, it's pretty cool looking, and I think they sold out already. So there we go. Capcom sent this out to me though, but I'm not an amiibo collector, so I figure we'll give it away here
It's a nice amiibo, guys. It's a nice amiibo.
It does.
Really
It looks it actually looks pretty solid. Like
Very
close.
highly detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like a little purple like glow with its like the fire or whatever. So it's nice.
Yeah. So even if you're not a big amiibo collector, this is actually one of the higher end ones I would say for the overall quality of it. So we are also on Spotify. That's been updating. So everyone who's been asking about that, it is there. Check it out on Spotify. A lot of you have actually been following on Spotify. So you guys weren't lying. You really wanted it on there. So good to see that. But I think that's everything for the intros here. So Max, do you want to tell us about Balon Wonderworld for a little while before we just go into like Monster Hunter?
Yeah, before we talk about a good game, we'll talk about a bad game. So Balan Wonderworld is confusing. The only way I would describe it is a costume platformer. It feels very, very close to Mario 64 in that you have to get there's these statues at each level that are hidden around, and you have to solve puzzles or explore or collect particular costumes because each costume has its own ability. The weirdest part about the game is that it's very repetitive. There's 12 worlds and then a last boss, but a lot of the costumes repeat. There's like, you'll get like a costume that lets you punch, and then there'll be a bug costume that does the exact same thing, and later you get a jack-o'-lantern costume that does the exact same thing. So the 3 worlds, or the 12 worlds, kind of feels like 3 worlds over and over and over again. It's terribly boring. I do think it has kind of Sonic the Hedgehog vibes. It does remind me of Sonic Adventure a little bit. It's obviously the Sonic dude. The bad guy, there's a bad guy that chases you around in levels who does look a lot like Shadow. One of the costumes you unlock is basically Super Sonic, so you can't actually speed around levels.
Did they do any improvements from the demo? Because when I played that demo, I was like, the real game can't play like this, can it? I mean, is it basically still that?
It's basically that. The major difference is it does feel like the buttons feel more responsive. That was definitely a pre-alpha version. I never died in the whole game, never once, because everything's at least responsive. I guess the biggest problem is that the major appeal is supposed to be the costumes. There's 50 different costumes, which are basically abilities. Yeah, and a lot of them are pretty much repeats over and over and over again. There are a couple that are fun. Once you get to like World 9 as an ice world, you get an ice skating costume, legit fantastic. Then you get an abominable snowman costume that turns you basically into Donkey Kong, and there's like a little Donkey Kong style section. It's weird because there's these sections that are really good, and then the rest is just the most boring cell phone ported to a game console garbage.
That's why when they started introducing all of the costumes in the demo, and it was like, you need this one specifically to jump, basically.
Yep. Yeah.
It was weird to me that they didn't just do less costumes, but then put more abilities on each costume. At least give them all the ability to jump, I guess. I don't know.
And that's the biggest issue is that when you're playing it, the fact that not everybody can jump makes a lot of the costumes absolutely useless. And you can tell because towards the end of the game, every costume can jump. You start getting a gear suit. You get like a bunny outfit that lets you freeze time and stuff. After a while, every costume can jump. So it's like, why did you even make non-jumping costumes at the beginning if you knew you were going to get rid of this mechanic at the end?
Yeah, I saw it at Target yesterday, and it was $60, and I kind of laughed. So I still have a hard time with that one being $60.
I paid for it. I paid $60. I asked for a review copy, and they said we're not really going to be giving out too many review copies. So please watch my video. I can't believe I spent $60 on that.
They gave. Yeah, it sounds about right because there was I think Tom Marks on Twitter said that they sent out a review code to IGN like the day it came out, release day, so yesterday. So they won't have a review out till next week. I think that was very purposeful on Square's part. I'm still trying to figure out these user reviews right now. I'm looking through these things.
It's like reverse psychology. What are they? It's like a meme. It has to be a meme. I saw that post on Twitter. Has to be a meme, right? It's a meme. It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange right now what's going on Metacritic with this game too. So. I feel like somebody's paying.
I always had a bad feeling about it.
I feel like someone's paying to review bot.
I think they're just they're basically like memeing it. Like, let's give this crappy game great scores.
Maybe. Well, the way the reviews read it, it sounds like it's being pumped out by a bot. So
yeah, it's very unified in the names being more consonants than vowels, and then also having just random words. It's not good.
I mean, I can read one out loud right now. It's
review the reviews.
Okay, this one's from EZHYQ is the name of the person.
Sounds reliable.
absolute funny and cutie game. It's something really interesting to play.
Cutie?
It's something really interesting to playing, especially when you make a full immersion on it and you find out that really blast of genius design that I love deserves all the penny spent for it, in my humble opinion.
It does have much blast of genius, beautiful cutie.
I definitely will put my immersion into it.
Well, don't do that. Okay.
It has guys, by the way, it has a 9.7 user score, right? Is that
It says a 9 right now, 9.0. I think some people saw my tweet and started like posting like negative reviews to it.
I guess each one is a different user score, like between PlayStation.
I was looking at the PlayStation 5 one. Why is the Switch higher?
Well, the Switch is 9.7. Because they all have their own scores. So Switch is, actually, wait a minute, no, Switch is 9.0. 9.0 for the Switch.
I should say it does have adaptive triggers. I almost forgot to mention that. I don't know why, but whenever you beat a boss, the triggers all lock up.
But you might be right about this. I think it might be a bot.
I'm telling you, it's weird. I think somebody sending bots at. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it some more. It's a little strange.
The Xbox One has a 9.7 on the Xbox One.
I'm gonna look at that. I think somebody's trolling the thing. I'll look into it a little bit.
Somebody needs to make a clickbait video like why Balon is better than Monster Hunter.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Shout out to Rogers Bays, who rated the Twitch channel.
Hey,
400 people.
My
Thanks
man.
to Rogers Base. We should get Roger on the Spawncast some point soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, so thanks, Max, for the wrap up of Balon Wonderworld. I don't plan on playing it or buying it, but good to know it's not good.
No. I'm glad I beat it just so I can say I've beaten the best game of the year and the worst game of the year, probably back to back.
What's the platinum looking like on that one?
It's super. I mean, it's a little kid baby game. It's one of those collect all the trophies, get all the costumes.
Okay. So Sean, any final words for this game?
You know, things happen in life, and you know, you think it's a princess, but it's really a toad. So, yeah.
Can I ask a question? What made you think this game was a AAA Nights game?
Because it was Yuji Naka, and when you saw it was Yuji Naka. When you saw the first trailer, it looked and sounded like Night. The whole thing was they had the little dude with the top hat, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is the fucker you play as, and you move around with him, and you probably fly through the air." But no, they didn't do that, and it was like if they would have done that, I feel like it would have made for a better game.
Okay, I swear I will only say that like 2 or 3 more times in a video.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't care.
It's just funny because Sean got swerved so bad by this game.
Yeah.
It's like legendarily bad how much of a swerve that was. Because I was like, yo, you know, if you play it does look kind of like Knights, and then it's like, wait a minute, what's this?
It's more days than nights. You know what it is? It's nights, like when you have that night where you meet the girl at the club or something. Yeah, come back to my place. And then this Balan is days when you wake up and you're like, what is this next to me?
Wow. That's the harshest and weirdest review. Somebody type that up and put that as one of the reviews on Metacritic, please.
I mean, it's pretty accurate.
I'm not even phased at this point with whatever said on this show.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not play It Takes Two. I don't know if anyone else got a chance to play it, but I am going to pick it up after I'm done with Monster Hunter. I guess this week I'll pick it up.
I forgot that came out.
It's reviewing extremely well.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to play it. I've heard if you play with your significant other, since that's the story, it's like a husband and wife who are cursed. So I want to play with my girlfriend. I heard it's like a great girlfriend game.
What's good about it though is you can buy it, and even though it's EA publishing it, which is really funny, it's like a way out where you get like a buddy pass. Basically, you just give that to someone and they can download the game for free to play with you.
Yeah,
so
I like that a lot.
That's a really cool idea because like co-op's so like integral in that game. So
I like the guy who makes it. I just think he's cool.
Yeah. Just a fair. Yeah. So I mean, he's put out 2 good games so far, and both of them are heavy on the co-op. So we'll see what he does next. But It Takes Two got very good reviews, and I'll check that out this week. I like the kind of the art style and all of this looks really cool too. So definitely check that out. But why don't we just go to Monster Hunter Rise then?
Yeah.
Because I think everyone played it. Jordan, did you play it?
Nope.
Okay.
I got the other good game that came out this week.
You really?
Balan.
Okay.
I got the other
Okay.
one.
I really hope that game is not in the bargain bin like next month, Jordan.
Next week is more like it.
I forgot I pre-ordered it. It just showed up, and I was like,
My
"Oh,
God.
it came out."
You're the one pre-order. You're the one pre-order in the
It
world.
actually came out. Yes. All right.
Shout out to Amazon for not letting me know about it.
Monster Hunter Rise is out. We played a little bit of multiplayer, Sean, right? We did that in your video, which was pretty cool. And I've been playing it quite a bit single player wise. I've never gotten really into a Monster Hunter game. I did one, I think, on the PSP more than the others. I think that was Freedom Unite.
Yeah.
I have to look at which one it was because they had like 1 and 2.
They also Try was on there, I think. That's the one I played, I think.
I played World an all right amount, but I fell out of them, and then I picked this one up, and this might be legitimately like the best Monster Hunter game I've played. I've tried all of them for the most part, but this, except for the one on the I didn't play the one on the PS2 much because I mean that just first showed up and it was pretty dated. Now you look at it, but this might be one of the best Monster Hunter games I've played them, and I would say it's so good that it's pulling people in who have never really been into Monster Hunter, like Sean, for example. You didn't really play a lot of Monster Hunter before this, did you?
I played some of the PSP ones. I played Try on the Wii, and I played Generations Ultimate. But I wouldn't say whenever I play those games, I wouldn't like binge them. I would play for like an hour or two, and just like, okay, return to it the next day. But this game, like, I got a review copy on Thursday. I was like, all right, well, let me play for an hour because we were making a video for online. And I was like, well, let me play for an hour or two just to get used to the game's mechanics or whatever. And then, whatever. And the next thing I knew, 6.5 hours went by, and I was like, oh, wow, I guess I like this more than I thought I did. I've already finished it. I'm on the extra monsters and stuff. Just amazing game.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the biggest part about it that's setting it apart right now is the wire bug where you're kind of zipping around with that. I think the part that I've never really been a big fan of with Monster Hunter is probably the movement. It feels clunky, whereas now I almost feel like it's close to like almost Spider-Man at times, where you're just zipping around with the wire bug. You're going up mountainsides and stuff real easy with that. You're jumping.
Yeah, adding the Palamute into being able to do things off the back, of the dog and stuff like that. That's really, really cool.
We were playing, Sean, and you were like, this is amazing. I can sharpen my blade when I'm riding on the Palamute. And I was like, it seems like a little thing, but you know what? That's actually something I would expect Monster Hunter to make you get off the Palamute, open 3 different menus, and then you sharpen your blade or something.
It's so fast. I love everything so fast. And also, can we just take a second to gush over the fact that this is some of the best Nintendo Switch graphics ever? Across the board, one of the things that it made me most is a lot of these character models look like they took them from Monster Hunter World, like a couple of the repeat monsters that are just wandering around, and they practically look like the PS4 version. I don't know how the hell they did this.
Yeah, this RE engine is pretty impressive, even like on the Switch. So, you know what? I'm gonna be really curious whenever they do the next Monster Hunter World and they put that into RE engine, like how that's gonna look. Because clearly the big thing here is the difference between MT Framework and RE engine. And I mean, it works really well on the Switch. The thing I was really concerned about was, will the frame rate hold up when we're playing? But I gotta tell you, when all 4 of us were playing yesterday, Sean, and like we were against like 3 large monsters ended up all at once against us, and a bunch of small monsters, there all this stuff happening. It was pretty solid. It didn't.
And all your dogs are there too. So there's even
true. Yeah,
all the monsters are on screen, and everything holds up, and even in portable mode too. Well, we were playing. There was a time that I was playing, and everything was held up great in portable mode. So it was great.
I think you mentioned it, Nate. You're like, I'm actually surprised the frame rate hasn't dropped at all when we're doing this, because we were just like, we were getting lit up by 3 monsters at once. We all got killed.
Yeah, we had 3 monsters. The 4 of us were just unloading attacks in rapid succession, and we even had the little beast coming in to partake. We had our dogs attacking, and everything was going smooth, and it was kind of amazing that it wasn't getting huge hitches in performance.
It feels better. It feels better in co-op rampages as well, when you're fighting like 5 or 6 of those large monsters at the same time. It gets crazy.
I honestly feel like this is how I would expect a game on the revised Switch to look and run.
True,
Like I really feel like this is like a standard bearing game for the Switch, to where it's like, you can't figure out how to get your engine from a PS4 or a PS5 game to run on the Switch. Well, why can Capcom? I mean, it's Capcom at the end of the day. Capcom needs to fucking license that engine out and be like, look, here's the tools to put your games on the Switch, because I mean, you compare that to some other third-party games, and it's night and day.
The
like,
thing, though, it's effort, though. Like, they actually took the time, and they've been making this game for years now. A lot of these developers, they want to do just the ports, downsize it to Switch, and they don't want to spend the money and the time and the effort to make a game for it. We've only had, I think we've had 2. Dragon Quest XI-S was made for the Switch with an Unreal Engine. So they didn't just downport it. They made it for the Switch, and that game performs very well. Now we have this game. Those are like the 2 major ones made for it. Not that's just, okay, let's port it from Xbox One or whatever the case is. So when you do that, obviously it takes more time, effort, and money, but the results are so much better. And obviously the game sales for this are insane. And Dragon Quest XI sold extremely well on the Switch too. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's
like sold out a lot of places. Like even online, it's sold out.
This is good for, Capcom was going to take their time with this game because they have the benefit of being Monster Hunter on a system. I mean, it sells well on Nintendo systems as it was in the past, but this is coming off the heels of Monster Hunter World. So they're like, all right, we can put more time in this. And the word is it's selling through, like, and their first shipment was like 1.5 million in Japan, I think. And it's apparently sold out in most stores. So like they're going to report some massive numbers for this
game.
One
on the eShop too. One on the eShop. 1 and 3, I think the regular edition and the digital deluxe edition. So it's doing incredibly well. Number 1 on Amazon Japan, multiple spots. So yeah, it's killing it.
Yes. So it's rolling along there. And then a lot of the things that are really interesting in the game so far that I found, and you posted one part of it, Sean, but like you're going to run into this at some point if you're going through the game and you're fighting multiple large monsters at once, is they'll actually like size each other up and start fighting in the middle of the area you're in. They'll have like their little turf battle. And like we watched you something you posted where the large monster threw the other one up with its mouth and like went flying in the air.
Beasting that day. I put it on Twitter. He just absolutely beasted. It was like watching King Kong at the start where he's like thrashing the dinosaurs, when he gets loose. Like it was crazy. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I ran into that a couple times now, where it's you'll have the 2 like monsters, and like you might be fighting one, the other one just rolls in and smacks the other one. It explodes for this big number. But I've seen it a couple times. It's just interesting to watch the different monsters like interact with each other at times if they're like caught in the right environment.
Speaking of how much have y'all seen? So how much have y'all messed with the monster riding stuff? Because that, especially when there's the monsters fighting each other, it's really nice. Like when we're doing group co-op, because I did co-op with Sean, and at one point there was this big old dragon trying to eat me, and Sean just jumped onto its back and ran into a wall or run it into other stuff, like fighting into each other. It's fantastic.
You can catch them. Sometimes one of the monsters will like punch the other one and like break its guard or break stuff off of it. And it'll fall down, and then you can jump on top of it. You're right, Max. And I did that, and I had that monster then just slap the other one, and I ran into a wall. And it's pretty cool to kind of jump in like of the battles when one's weaker and like take over and start actually like having them swing back. So it's kind of cool how you can pick your spots in those fights too, to be able to try to beat both of them and then get more equipment or more parts for your equipment. But I've actually had a good time. I'm surprised. I did not think I would really be that interested in another Monster Hunter game, but it almost feels like, I guess, the next evolution after World. So I'll be curious if they're going to keep this mobility up that they have now with this wire bug.
I would think they would have to.
Yeah,
they have to.
Well,
it's not even necessarily mobility. It's mobility, it's attacks, it's getting to different areas. Because like usually, your Monster Hunter games, you have one floor. You have different areas within that floor, but it's essentially one floor. This is like you have to like climb and traverse and like
you can
hidden areas.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, there's so much.
No fall damage.
Yeah, no. Okay.
If there's fall damage, it would be ugly.
Oh yeah, I would have been dead multiple times.
I've been flattened multiple times. On the ground.
I have a clip that I put in my review that I was really happy with, where a monster threw me. It hit me, and I was next to a house. And as I was falling, I managed to grapple hook onto the roof of the house, pull myself up there, get onto the roof, and then jump off and strike it. And I was like, "Oh my god, you can't ever take that out. You can't take that mechanic out of the game ever."
Yeah, so I assume they're going to stick with this as they go along because it's changed the overall like combat, the way you get around the world, everything. So I think it's gonna be really cool to see what they do going forward with this, and I assume they're gonna do, as they said, more updates for it, maybe more content down the road for this one, DLC or something.
There's a bunch of free DLC coming. Like there's definitely gonna be more monsters and stuff and equipment and armor, and
just seeing what they did with Monster Hunter World, and this has the potential to be larger terms of sales than that, especially when they release it again next year on the PC and they have another big launch of it. They'll probably call it even like the Monster Hunter Rise, like I don't know, Game of the Year edition or something. So it could get Game of the Year nominees for all we know. So
it needs to. It's the best game I've played this year.
Yeah, I give it 10 out of 10. This is the best game I've played this year, and I'll just say it right now. If this game ends up coming to PlayStation 5 next year, if this isn't like an exclusive for everything, I'm buying it again on PS5. It's that good.
I think it's kind of cool that it came out first on the Switch, though. To be
honest. It flexes. It flexes hard.
Nintendo paid for it.
It kind of reminds me of like reminds me of like Octopath, maybe, how that was on the Switch for a while and then it eventually went to PC, then eventually to Stadia, and then eventually went to Xbox finally years and years later. So I mean, I guess it's possible, but they might just do another World. Might just get like World 2 or something.
If they paid for it, then I'm sure they had them sign the same as the Street Fighter 5 contract, where it's like, all right, this can only exist on PlayStation or PC.
Yeah, it's basically Switch and PC right now. So, and I was actually surprised they even mentioned PC already. I thought they would have kept like that quiet for a while.
Did Try come over to any other platform? It came over to the Wii, then the Wii U. Did it come over to any other platform outside of that?
I don't think so. I thought it just stayed on Nintendo's platforms.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But
I think it's smart for them to leave that on. Like they just have two different Monster Hunter games going, because then they make World 2 for the PlayStation, the Xbox, and they make whatever they want to do after Rise for the Switch and PC, and then the PC just gets both of them. So what do we think?
This is going to be the highest selling third-party Switch game?
Yes,
it probably already is.
Oh yeah, I don't know what else would like come close to it. I'm trying to think.
People count Minecraft. I don't necessarily, but some people say Minecraft. I don't think the MPD counts Minecraft. They were saying Mario plus Rabbids is the best selling third party game for the longest time, and Minecraft's always obviously been that's sold millions on Switch. So
I mean, they're gonna put up the Famitsu sales this week, and it's gonna be over 1 million copies, I assume. In 2 days, it tracks Friday and Saturday, so. Yeah, it's going to immediately become the best third-party selling Switch game like this year immediately. So, I mean, there's also like, I know there's Momotaro did pretty well in Japan. That's from Konami, surprisingly. So I assume so. Yes, this is going to be the best selling third-party game on the Switch easily. So, but
I watched the Monster Hunter movie.
Hey, so did I.
If that adds anything. That's the only Monster Hunter I've done.
So wait, hold on, Jordan. You watched the Monster Hunter movie. You bought Balan Wonderworld. You've had a week.
I've had a week. I'll tell you this: the movie's still pretty bad, but better. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought they're going to do a way worse job because of the Resident Evil movies, but it was like a 4 out of 10.
I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was goofy. I like how small it was. I liked that most of it's just Tony Jaa and Mila Jovovich sitting in a desert.
I thought it was going to go in a different direction. It's literally just a survival movie the whole time. It's all it is. And I'm like,
do they fight monsters?
A
little bit. They mostly hide from monsters.
A lot of spider things, whatever those are.
Yeah. Well, because I mean they're the size that monsters are in the thing, but they kind of have human levels of strength. So when dinosaurs and shit are rolling around and there's the giant under the sand thing, they're like, yeah, we hide here.
It's called Monster Hunter, not Monster Hider.
Yeah, Monster Runner.
That's what I was trying to get us to capture a monster, and you guys kept saying, "This is Monster Hunter. We got to kill it. We got to kill it." It's like
exactly. We're not here to make friends. We're here to kill,
capture it, and get the better rewards.
You know what's gonna happen to the thing after it gets captured anyway, right?
You're gonna put it in the arena, then you train. We run riding. Exactly what happened.
Why couldn't we capture it? Sean is just like bloodthirsty whole time. How much longer do you think you'll stick with this, Sean? You gonna just like what's your plan here for the end game stuff? Are you gonna try to finish your ultimate weapon and then you're done?
I'm killing every monster in the game, and I'd like to get all the weapon cost stuff, and I'm using the sword and shield mostly. So I'd like to get the top tier stuff.
Yeah, I guess we should see what's the weapon everyone's using right now.
I got the poison spear shield.
Spear shield. Okay.
Yeah. I use the bone line of the heavy sword. I love the heavy sword.
Nice. I got the dual blades.
That's what I'm using, are dual blades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working up this little skill tree for that thing.
I like the bow, man. I've been using the bow, and it's fun, super fun to use the bow. And
yeah, I saw what you're on your stream when you're playing. It looked like a completely different game than what I was playing. When you're using the bow,
there's all
like,
different. If you go into the settings, the any of the gun controls, there's so many more controls just to like make that completely different. It's
I was like, maybe I should try to change over to one of those gun, or like they have like the gun blade almost, and I'm like,
it's so weird because when you get into the game, it's like, okay, your stamina goes, like if you use this silkbind attack, it like regenerates. There's invincibility frames after you do this type of thing. You're like, there's all this like layers of depth on top of just using like one weapon compared to something else. It feels like a completely
you eventually get the new abilities later on. Like I get a shield bash now instead of the spear slam, so I actually can block things as I'm running at them. It's great.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like the upgrading and everything is just it's a phenomenal game, man. I'm impressed. I'm surprised. I didn't think I'd like it as much. I was wrong about it, man. I thought it was gonna be like, oh yeah, I tried. It's a little bit better than Try, or it's a little bit better than 4 or 4 Ultimate, but it's like a lot better for me at least. So.
Well, actually, what's interesting, Sean, is we have this. This is like the best looking game on the Switch now, is what a lot of people are saying. There's rumors about that Resident Evil game. What if you think they're use the RE engine for that too? Maybe that could end up being a better looking game.
I mean, if I'm Capcom, I'm putting all of my, because this game is going to sell well, not just because it's a Monster Hunter game, but because it's doing things different and it's actually utilizing the system to its capability. So if I'm Capcom, I'm wanting to put as much RE engine stuff on the Switch as I can if I'm able to get these results, because what I'm doing is I'm Capcom, but they're making themselves look like a dominant force right up there with Nintendo in terms of quality that you can expect from games utilizing this engine.
Okay, I'll be curious to see if they use RE engine for that too. That could be interesting. Just
what
we've seen with Monster Hunter.
Well, it's supposedly designed with the Switch in mind, but going to be a multi-plat. So if it's going to be a multi-plat, I would assume it would use RE engine.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Well, we got that showcase coming up, so I guess you never know. Never know.
I hope so. I would definitely be interested to see what they're able to do in terms of a Resident Evil game utilizing the Resident Evil engine on the Switch.
Let's go to Discord question, Evan.
We got a guy asking, what is the best video game controller? I'm in for the Neo Geo controller. Love that shit.
The Saturn
video game controller. What?
Saturn controller.
That's a troll answer.
What? What? The revised Saturn controller? That's the best controller in the world. Best D-pad, nice 6 buttons.
Is this April Fool's? Is it April Fool's right now? No, it's not April Fool's. Okay, serious answer is Xbox 360 or PlayStation 4. They fit in your hand. They're very light. They have good battery life. They're very, very easy to use.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to go with Xbox 360 or like, I was thinking maybe Super Nintendo controller.
Super Nintendo feels too light now. I think that's my problem is now as an adult, having like a 1 ounce controller feels funky.
I can see that.
Are we going with third-party controls? Because this SN30 Pro...
Yeah, it's anything, man. He just says controller.
Right. Hey, we got the new SN30 coming up here soon, too.
I might actually grab that.
I like this.
The new one's coming out. If only someone around here could review that controller.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't know. What were you saying, Click?
No, I was gonna say, what's y'all's opinion on the Switch Pro? I love the Switch Pro now.
Oh yeah.
Like I avoided it for so long, and I finally got it. I was like, oh my god, I actually.
Wait, hold on. You haven't had a Pro controller this whole time?
No. Like I'm not like Sean over here, but like I didn't have one for like a good year and a half. I think, and having a Switch.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly I left the Pro controller at the office. I had to use this to play Monster Hunter. And it's terrible. So, like going from the Pro controller to like the grip dog face thing.
Yeah,
I have no idea how you used this for so long, Sean.
I don't know. I did though, but now it's like no Switch Pro or nothing. Fuck off.
You go from the Pro controller to that.
I can't even use a Joy-Con anymore. Like I just want to throw it against the wall.
Whoa, suddenly too far.
The Switch Pro controller is good. It has that battery life too. So it's like 40 hours or whatever. You barely ever think about charging it.
I also like the Wii U Pro controller that has 80 hours of battery life. Like,
Hey, it's almost Wavebird level.
Yeah, and I do like, and the Wavebird's great too. Wavebird's great. Wii U Pro controller's great. Switch Pro controller is great. I like the 360 controller as well. Just the D-pad on that controller is bad.
That's the only problem is that that's what held the GameCube controller back for me is that the D-pad on the GameCube controller is not very good.
It was tough to play certain fighting games on there and everything, like with that D-pad.
It's tough to play the Game Boy Advance games on the GameCube. That lock everything like that. The shout out to Angie Nash for becoming a member.
Ooh.
Thank you, Angie Nash.
Thank you, Angie.
Evan, we got another Discord question.
We have a guy asking you, John, what's the secret to being able to remove ribbon cables from boards in consoles? He's got a couple projects coming up. Oh, yeah.
Wait, which ribbon cables? Talking with the clips?
He doesn't say specifically any of them, but I imagine he would probably be dealing with the clips, which, I mean, for the most part, we use like dental tools and very light touches.
You can get tiny little like little tweezers that are like they have them like kind of curved at the end, so it's easier to grab them. But if you're dealing with like larger ribbon cable clips, like on the PS3 or something, you just use. Usually, I would just use like 2 fingernails essentially to pop them up. That'll work too. Just kind of support it either end of it, so you don't just snap it in the middle. But otherwise, get some small like tweezers that they're all over Amazon. They're like $10 for an entire set, and they'll make it easier to grab at things maybe that are like kind of wrapped around the side of the board. So I would get those definitely. That's a must-have if you're opening systems. What's another Discord question there, Evan? I'll pull some of the super chats before we get into the PlayStation store closure.
This one looks like it's for Max. I got a guy who just started playing Final Fantasy VII. He's still on disc 1. He's a little bit through, and now he's thinking of just playing Ever Crisis. He's wondering if he should just drop what he's playing now because he apparently gets burned out easily playing through games and just move to that.
So definitely beat the original version of FF7. I think it's great that it's still on everything. You can play it on Switch, PC, PS5, anything. But additionally, Ever Crisis, they've now revealed it's going to be a gacha game. It's going to be the original story, but you're going to buy loot boxes of the weapons. So in order to actually upgrade yourself, you're going to constantly be swiping your credit card. Beat the original version. If for some reason you feel like you're not getting enough of the story, because Ever Crisis is going to include the sequel and the prequel of FF7, Advent Children, and Before Crisis, I'd say maybe watch those on YouTube, but still stick with it, grind through. FF7, the original game, isn't that long, and it is really good. Honestly, disc 1 is huge. If you finish disc 1, the rest of the game, it's right there.
Okay, let's start with some of these super chats. I have one from Mitt saying, "Poll, name of the predicted new Switch console. The new Nintendo Switch, Switch XL, or Switch Plus?"
I like Switch Plus.
I think it is going to be. I think it's going to be new Nintendo Switch, but I still really wish it was called Super Nintendo Switch. It's going to be called Switch, new Switch, probably.
Actually, it's going to be called nothing because it's not real. I mean,
yeah.
Well, while we're on that point, we do have a question. What do we think about it being called Nintendo Switch SP?
That's a good point because the Switch Mini, that never happened either. So, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That was fake too. What did you say, Evan? The Switch SP?
Nintendo Switch SP. That was another Discord question since we were talking about that.
I think it's just going to be. I think it's going to be called the Nintendo Switch.
It's pretty good.
It's going to be the Switch with an extra I in there, and it's just going to look like the Wii logo in the middle of it.
Oh, stop!
Ooh.
All white console.
I hope not.
Oh no, it's gonna be like aluminum color,
and it's definitely gonna be all white, so the Cheeto stains show up better. It'll be good.
Yeah, Cheeto stains. Yep. They'll market it like that.
Unironically, I think it is going to be a weird color. I think of a lot about the upgraded GBSP, the rare one that everybody likes. There's like the pink one and the red one, cobalt or whatever. I think it's going to be like neon green or orange. It's going to be something weird.
I wonder if you're just going to go with. Go ahead, Jordan. What were you saying?
I was saying the color that I would like is, when you have NES and you have SNES that just out for 30 years getting all the oxygen on them. I want that color.
I get that color.
Dingy yellow.
Dingy. Just dinge.
Dinge, yeah. Ooh, check it out.
Someone needs to brush their teeth color.
Basement yellow.
Basement yellow, dinge beige. Yeah.
Drink more water yellow.
I think if they just go with like the metallic aluminum look, if they want to do that, like kind of like what the iPads or something look like on the back, it's easy enough for them to market that as like a a premier or premium system. So but I probably new Nintendo Switch or Switch Plus. That's probably. I mean, they're probably not going to call it Switch Pro. Everyone just says Switch Pro because it's like the keyword now.
Right.
Yeah, basically. Evan, we have a Discord question over there.
If we want to keep going with it, any suggestions for something that would be considered like a bite-sized RPG? This is a student who doesn't have a lot of time, but he enjoys RPGs.
Immortals.
If you're talking like non-open world, I think definitely OJ will agree with this. Chrono Trigger is surprisingly short. It is a great turn-based RPG. It is aged fantastically. The jokes are still good. The characters are still good. The sprites are still good. And it's like 15 hours.
God damn it, Derek.
Favorite game of all time is Chrono Trigger, and I absolutely agree. It's not very long, and it's not a hard game either, and you can just get through it. Yeah, 20 hours would be their tops for the game. So yeah, Chrono Trigger is great, but depends on what system. He didn't say what systems he has, so we don't know what he can play it on.
Let's go to super chats here. Jason with a little wave on the emoji there. Then we have Katana Riku saying, "Is OJ on the Spawncast tonight?" That was only $1.99. OJ, you can. That's your discretion.
All right.
All right. It says is $5 enough to ask if OJ is here? Just wondering. It was a $5.
I am here. What's up, man?
Okay, there you go. David says, use this to get MVG at Foster's. Well, this is awkward.
I don't think he likes
Foster's.
Foster's.
On the way.
We can in his honor.
Yeah, there you go. King says, if Discord is bought by Microsoft, I imagine it would get put on the Xbox. You think they let it be as an app or replace Xbox Live's chat with Discord? Isn't Discord already on Xbox?
It's on there, but you can't talk through it, I believe. I think it just lets you, I think you could type to people and it shows what games you're playing. So when you're online, it'll say play Master Chief Collection or whatever.
Yeah, I think that if they bought Discord, it would be integrated across like all their platforms. That'd probably become like their...
I'm just waiting for Microsoft to buy Life, like our Life. We've bought you everyone, and then what happens?
I've already got the Bill Gates Pfizer vaccine in my arm. So
yeah, I mean,
all of you guys. You guys all work for us now, please.
Jeff Grubb made a good point on the last Spawncast where they just have so much money in the bank, they're better off spending it rather than let it depreciate in their accounts. So maybe they're just like, let's just start buying stuff. Why not? And Xbot says people suddenly care about old games. How much did Microsoft pay all of you guys?
$10.
I like. Yeah. Have you ever seen my game room? Like, I like old games. I like.
Spend a lot of money on those arcade cabinets that are just old games.
Yeah, like, and I'm buying more when more come out. Like Killer Instinct, X-Men. I'm buying those. Where am I going to put them? I have no fucking. I'm going to put one in the damn bathroom at this point. You start putting them in the kitchen. I don't care.
Still waiting on House of the Dead Man.
Donkey Kong? What is that?
No, that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Is that Tony Hawk? Okay.
That's Tony Hawk. I don't know why it's right next to me, but look, I'm a retro gamer too, guys.
I got look at Neo Geo here. I got a Super Mario Brothers.
Do you have the best Resident Evil to start with for someone who's first trying it with Resident Evil 2?
On the N64.
Oh, yeah.
I think I only have a digital copy. Yeah, I got a digital copy of that because I got a review code. I never bought the physical.
That's right.
That's what I do. The thing where I'll get a copy of a game digitally, and then I'll like as a review code, and then I'll buy it physically later for dirt cheap.
Yeah, I do that too, but I kind of don't wait sometimes.
Click still hasn't played Resident Evil, by the way. And then we have,
but she's playing Rise, so
That's
I mean,
true.
I can let that slide.
she is playing Rise. Normal says, around today will be a year since I started to watch the show. I would like to say thanks for your great content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Normal. Then Opus says, Balon Wonderworld is $59.99 on the eShop. Is it worth it?
No.
Yes.
Oh my god.
$9.99.
Right.
I'm gonna say Rise is like right next to on the recent releases, so you're gonna have to make that decision for yourself. Okay, they're right next to each other.
Ask yourself if you want a AAA Knights game. If you ask yourself if you want a AAA Knights game, and if you say yes, then buy it.
That's what I was told, and I did.
Okay.
I was told and I did it.
Face says, why don't you guys promote the Spawncast Clips channel? Did you guys know there's a Spawncast Clips channel? If not, you should go check it out and subscribe to it.
We do. We talk about it and on Twitter.
Actually, I'll put something cool on the Spawncast Clips channel tomorrow. How about that?
My ass is on there. I mean, that should be
That's true.
Yeah, it is.
True.
It is.
Reenactment of 8 Mile. I like it. That's what I would have named.
Ken says you've seen the Metro's article about Jim Ryan. Wowie. I'm not sure which article.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Let me Google it.
Is it the one where he asked why people would even want to play Gran Turismo?
No, it's like an opinion piece where they said Jim Ryan is killing Sony.
Oh,
Yeah, I have it. It's called Jim Ryan is leading PlayStation to its death.
Wow.
My God.
Jeez,
Is it really called that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the headline.
That's
Wow.
Well, so I'm actually reading it here. They're kind of posting a thing that a fan wrote, or one of their readers wrote in. So it's not really them saying it. They're kind of just publishing some feedback. It's one of those weird things of like note from the editor.
Interesting.
Yeah, still strong words.
That's a serious headline
for a system selling as well as it is. But I mean, I get it. Like I see where I see some of this stuff in terms of, like Japan and stuff like that. But I mean,
I would say changing is a better word.
It's more Western focused. I mean, they're focusing. They're less on, obviously, indies isn't a thing. They're more on the bigger games and getting certain stuff. But I mean, like I get it. Some people might be upset compared to what they did like with the PS3 and PS4 strategies. So
I mean, it's like when Suge Knight, when he went up on stage,
go on
during the Source Awards, and he was talking shit about Bad Boy. And he's like, y'all want the producer dancing in your video? Come on over to Death Row. You guys got to come on over to Nintendo if you want that Japanese stuff, or else they'll hang you off the balcony by your ankles like they did Vanilla Ice.
Are you okay, Sean?
That sounds like it was well deserved.
He's having a night.
I don't know how you put all that together, but I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that
that
was your comparison, because I get it, but
I feel like
that's an extreme.
Convicted murderer Suge Knight, great video game.
He went from murderers to Ice Baby and all in one flow, and I respect it.
It makes sense.
Okay.
Sure.
Hector says, do you think Ubisoft is going to be put games on Game Pass? Is OJ going to be in a stream with Review Tech USA?
Yeah, we had some issues. I'll just answer that real quick. We had some issues, but yeah, I hit Rich up, and we'll definitely do something probably this upcoming week.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor right now, is that Ubisoft games that might actually be going to Game Pass, like their little subscription thing. I'm just curious how they'll make that happen at the current price of Game Pass, because that Ubisoft subscription I think is $15 a month as well. So I have no idea how that would work. At least EA Play was cheaper. I think that was like $5 a month. So no clue how they would do that unless they made an option for Game Pass to be tiered and you pay more to also have the Ubisoft stuff included.
Well, isn't it more if you want the EA stuff?
No, they just throw it in. It's Game Pass Ultimate. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, it's just here's like 50 EA games just immediately overnight. It's pretty cool. But I didn't
have Ultimate, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Ubisoft stuff's gonna be weird if they can make that happen. I don't know. I feel like that would cost way too much money then. And then Nerd says retro gaming wrestling is the best wrestling game out in decades. I found RGT's commentary booth. I want to put someone through it.
If you throw someone into my booth, the ring will change to an RGT 85 ring. So do that. And yes, the game kicks ass. People have been hitting me up. It's like, why haven't you talked about it yet? I do have it on the Xbox, but it's like I revealed the game coming to the Switch, and that was like the big reveal. So it's kind of like I want to wait for the Switch version to talk about it, so like everything comes full circle. But yeah, it kicks ass. That's what I was playing last week during the entire show. On my second screen, so yeah.
Gab says the baby on the Spawncast, love from Australia.
Let's go.
Those the baby memes are getting interesting.
Chris says welcome back, Max. Congrats, Jordan, on 40K subs. Much love to everyone on Spawncast. Keep up the great job.
Thanks so much.
Much love.
And Dragon Lord says hooked on Monster Hunter Rise. Here's a little bit of support for the show from Scotland. And this is a good one to kind of go into the next topic. Rusty says the PlayStation Store is the cheapest way to get the Misadventures of Tronbon, which is one of the rarest PS1 games. Get it while you still can cheap. So there are reports, or at least one report right now, and that's been circulating, that Sony could be looking to shut down the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, and PlayStation Vita stores probably over the summer. They had exact dates, which was interesting, but an announcement would be coming up at the end of this month. So that would mean that they would be making an announcement this week that they're going to be shutting down access to these games to buy. But I guess you would still be able to download them. We don't know necessarily about all of that, if you'd be able to still download it. But this didn't go over too well online, because all of a sudden everyone was like, oh yeah, game preservation, digital features.
What the fuck do you people expect? Like, are you surprised by this? I don't understand. Like, we saw it with the Wii, we saw it with the DS. Was that not, attention grabbing enough?
Let me play. So I made a big video about this, and basically my thing is that I understand why they're doing it. Of course they have to do it. I'm sad. I'm not angry. I'm not disappointed, or I'm disappointed that all these games are going away, but also, I understand it. So also what I did is, before I filmed my video for fun, I actually booted up my PlayStation Vita, which I have right here. The PlayStation Vita store, nobody's talking about it. It's already basically been dead for the last year. There are actually not even image links for a lot of stuff. Like, clearly nobody's been even touching that store for over a year. They're just going to finally flip the lights off, basically. But man, it does suck, because I have a huge digital library. So I'm sad that it's going away. But that's what happens.
Yeah, no, it does suck, because games are going to essentially disappear, especially with the Vita, because the Vita is the newest out of those three systems. But that unfortunately, these are the drawbacks of digital games. And obviously, the bigger games this doesn't really impact, but it's the small indie companies who can't afford to get that shelf space in a retailer, who can't afford that, these big budgets. Their games just disappear forever. And like, I don't know, that's got to be like a stab in the throat to like some degree, like,
Well, if you look at it as, Jim Ryan's made it very clear that he has no interest in the older games or retro stuff or any of that, because he just doesn't understand why people would want to play it. So to him, in his mind, I assume he's looking at this and saying, we're paying how much to keep these servers up and to keep access to, how many people do you think are really accessing the PS3 store on a daily basis?
Yeah.
Probably not a lot.
Well, I'll even say, as somebody that I have a PlayStation TV downstairs, which is basically like a PlayStation Vita connected to my TV. I haven't bought a game on my Vita in probably 4 or 5 years, like since the launch of the PlayStation 4 almost. So yeah, it's difficult to imagine them wanting to keep those servers up. It's just lost money.
Yeah, and we saw Nintendo take down the Wii store, like you said, Sean, right? So my main issue here, though, is Sony's been pretty bad about giving us ways to play these games outside of like these couple of platforms that have access to it. Like, the person brought up Misadventures at Tronbon. That is a game that's like $6 or $7 on the PlayStation Store, and it's like it's a couple $100 on eBay, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and this is the cheapest it's ever been because of the PlayStation version. Like, a lot of times the digital versions would bring stuff down in price at least a little bit. And with that going away, I guarantee you those prices of those games are going to go back up.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, you can emulate some of these things. Obviously, a game like Trombone, that's easy to emulate. But, PS3 emulation's tough, because of the design of the system. And most things work decently, but there's still some that don't. I don't know. It sucks, but unfortunately, it's the industry.
I do wish Sony would have had a bit more interest in pushing for backwards compatibility with their system.
I've seen people talking videos about backwards compatibility is coming. So you have to enlighten me, because I didn't.
I
didn't watch any of those videos.
You gotta start watching Newswave more often, man. Okay,
I'm not up that early.
The video doesn't go away.
But then I get into my
go away. I'm pretty sure
I get
by 1 p.m.
I get into my daily. I'll be honest with you. I hardly watch any video game content on YouTube.
Same. Yeah.
Because I feel like subconsciously, like, it could have, unless it's something I know I'm not going to talk about, like Dreamcast guys Balon video. I'm not going to talk about that game, so I would watch that. But if it's something I feel like I'm going to talk about, unless I've already talked about it, just to get other people's opinions, like, I don't know. I just feel like subconsciously, it might make my video sound like someone else's.
Yeah, my fear is repeating stuff. So what I'll do a lot of times is, after I review a game, I'll go and watch a bunch of people's reviews, because I'm curious, well, what did they like? Oh, they hated that and I love that. That's weird. But I'm afraid of watching stuff before I cover it, because if I repeated somebody's sentence by accident, I would get roasted.
Well, I say some weird stuff on camera, so I don't think I'm going to be copied much with that. But So the deal here, Sean, is people were saw a patent that was put out, and it showed Sony being able to trigger trophy, like unlocking trophies through emulation, but it's a patent that existed in 2013, and they used it for PS2 games on the PS4.
Oh.
So it was just an update to that patent mostly. So it doesn't actually mean anything.
That's so disappointing.
Exciting.
Yeah. So there you go. But it's I don't think there's going to be any raw emphasis on backwards compatibility with the PS5 or anything going forward.
Hip Hop Gamer said everything was gonna be on it.
Damn.
Yeah,
Well, I guess that sucks. Call Shug.
I think it's just going to be. I think it's going to be full speed ahead on the PS5 releases, and occasionally they'll have like Blue Point or somebody go back, get an older game, and bring it up. That's probably it. Unfortunately, we'll never be able to take a PlayStation 2 disc and pop it into the PS5 and have it download the PS2 game. So I wish they'd do more with what we saw with Xbox, but.
Seriously, how is Xbox the best one at preserving their games when they're like the newest person on the block? And let's be realistic, a lot of original Xbox games aren't like necessarily like must play classics.
Yeah.
Crazy to me.
Yeah.
My thing is, I wish that more studios would update stuff as well. Not even just normal backwards compatibility. I love that the original FF7, FF8, FF9, 10, 12, all those games are on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and they look great. You know, those little remasters they did of it. I wish more companies cared, but I honestly just think they don't. They just don't think there's any money for it. Like, Sony's not going to remake Gran Turismo 1. They're just going to make Gran Turismo 12, you know, and that's sad to me because I would straight up buy Gran Turismo 1 with slightly cleaned up graphics.
I would buy Gran Turismo 2 with slightly, but some of that is because of licensing with the car.
Yeah, exactly.
I get what you're saying, because in theory, like, that would be all. I mean, the best way to play it is on Bleemcast.
So, or I was gonna say like Tony Hawk. Like everybody here, Tony Hawk is pretty much the same game, but man, is that one of the best freaking games ever? Just bring back Tony Hawk, and we're happy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw how much they had to go through just to get the music back for the remake they did, because that was a whole thing too to get that soundtrack right. So you're right, Sean. Just the licensing for some of this stuff, even though it's backwards compatible or exists, you still have to apparently deal with that again, which is interesting because the way that Microsoft will do it is you put the disc in, but it downloads it from their store that they're then also selling. But what I thought was funny was when Microsoft brought back Black Ops 2, I think it was Black Ops 2. It was either that or Modern Warfare 2, and they had that backwards compatible on the Xbox One at the time. That actually charted in MPDs. I think it was in the top 10 at the time, which was really funny. So they made it backwards compatible, an older Call of Duty game people really liked, and it jumped into the top 10 for the MPDs for the month. So I think there is still money for backwards compatibility, but I don't think it's enough to change Jim Ryan's mind on it. But it does make you wonder about that all digital future that I think is going to start next generation. Telling you.
It's definitely happening. I don't see how they wouldn't. I mean, maybe, but that all digital PS5 to me is like the biggest indicator, because that it's $100 cheaper, and all you do is take out a disc drive. That's it. So why else would you do that? You know, why else would you start removing? People aren't allowed to get digital codes and games. Yeah, like they're just doing a lot of things that are just setting up for you have to go through us to buy everything. Like Sony is more so than Microsoft is playing a little bit safer, but Sony's kind of like they've already tipped their hand that it's probably going to be all digital next. You know?
Well, did you see there was like a trending hashtag a couple days ago of mostly, let's face it, Sony fans basically saying that Microsoft is trying to push all digital with Games Pass. They don't want you to buy a physical disc anymore. They just want you to pay for Games Pass, and eventually. Well, whenever that servers, whenever they start getting a console or two ahead, maybe some of that older stuff starts getting taken off Games Pass, and those games just won't exist. I mean, this is fear mongering for 10 years in the future, but I did think it's an interesting point of like Sony shutting off the store for PlayStation 3. What happens when they shut off the Xbox One store in 8 years or whatever, and all those games that have only existed on Games Pass just vanish?
Yeah, that's a good point. Microsoft's doing it a little bit more, subtle.
Yeah.
But they also want the same thing. And Games Pass is even because it's like it's a rental service at the end of the day, right? It's you don't keep after you're done paying, you don't keep them. So it's a rental service. So that's even like, hey, they don't even want you to really like own it at all in any type of way. You just as long as you pay, you get it. If not, it's removed. So yeah, they're all moving towards that because you guys know, we all know the deal. Like the digital cut, the money that you make digitally is significantly higher. And with Sony, with $70 games, it's just obviously that's the way that it's all heading towards.
Even it's gonna fall under the same way that happened to the movie industry, right? It became, you purchase a certain way to watch it at home, whatever was ever winning at the time, VHS, Betamax, whatever you were watching on, right? And then it went to rental stores. Instead of just having to own it, you can go rent it. You can have it for a bit. What comes after the whole rental and trying stuff? The digital future. So we're on that cusp of like a Blockbuster's about to shut down type of thing, and Netflix is about to take over. Yeah, is what I see by next console generation as well.
That's why I tell you guys, like if you can support physical, so at least if you can support it. Obviously, less and less games are coming, but I would still like to see. I still think that we have Switch, that physical still big on there. So if you want to see it around, support it, but. It seems like a lot of people are just saying I don't care anymore.
Third parties don't like physical at all. I don't think they do because Ubisoft had an entire slide that was like, here's how much we make from physical games. It's like we get 55% of the full cut. Here's how much we make from digital. It's like 70%. So they're even trying to explain to their investors, hey, if we go all digital, it's good for us. So we should do that.
That's why Assassin's Creed, it had I think the newest one had the highest digital ratio. Of all time, they made way more money off this Assassin's Creed than they made in previous ones. Even if it sells less, way more people are buying digital. So yeah, that's going to be the push. That's the move for everybody pretty much involved. For Microsoft, Sony. I know Nintendo wants to too, but they know that their audience is like, well, wait a minute here. That's the only thing. But obviously, every company wants everybody just to buy digital. Nobody actually wants physical. None of them want physical,
except for limited run games.
Well, that's different. That's their business.
We'll have to see if Nintendo tries an all digital system this generation, just as part of the family of systems. They're like, here's an all digital Switch, or here's an all digital console looking box or something, just to see if people will go with it.
I didn't really buy a single physical Switch game till almost 2 years into the Nintendo Switch. Secretly as an experiment. I talked about this 100 Spawncasts ago, but I seriously didn't buy a single physical Switch game for a long time. And it was good for a while, but yeah, after a while it was kind of it's weird not having anything for the system to actually have on the wall.
Yeah. I see a lot of people mention that they're like, I just bought it digitally on the Switch because then I don't have to switch out cartridges or carry the
convenience factor.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
I'll be on. And if you have multiple Switches, digital is extremely convenient. So I mean, I fall victim to that too at times, but I try to get my games at least some. Not all digital, just physical mostly. Then if a game works well digital, then I'll try it out. But. Yeah,
we're just a bunch of old people complaining about the inevitable. Go on, Jordan.
DTC has been the biggest push between all these companies for a direct to consumer for no matter what the media is, gaming, movies, music. They want the middleman out of it. They want to be able to push the content directly to you where you are at any moment, because the accessibility factor to it, the ease of it. And that's a big thing that's going to be pushed even more in the video game world as
we're buddies, Dreamcast guy.
Hell yeah, dude!
Hades buddies.
I'm so glad I picked this up, man. I'm so glad.
Do I have any buddies?
No, you have no friends. OJ, I want to say I'm finally buying Bravely Default 2 because of your tweets, and only because of your tweets. You've been talking about hard mode, and you finally talked me into it. So I'm actually ordering it Monday. Thank you, man.
Hashtag free game.
Sorry, I'll mute myself. It's gonna be.
Are they winning?
Up 3 with 30 seconds left.
Okay. He's looking serious.
Got money on this game.
Knicks fans are tortured to hell and back, right? So I mean, that's the reason why he acts like this.
Oh, that would have been a big one if you.
Oh my god.
Knicks fans have been going through hell for the past 20, 30 years. I think they haven't been good in a very long time.
They are currently in 5th, and the Hornets are currently in 4th in the East. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but
I'm telling you that you've been tortured for a while as a Knicks fan. It's hell for a while, So yeah.
They turned it over, and there's 13 seconds left, and Milwaukee has the ball, and they're down 3. So I feel okay.
I don't even know what that means.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Shoot the ball from a certain distance, they get 3 points. Big time.
Excuse me, 14 seconds left.
Okay. Let me, Evan. How many more? We got more Discord questions.
A couple, yeah.
Okay. Why don't we go through a few of those?
Okay, let's hit this one. So with Pyra and Mithra and Smash now, this opens the door for previously assist trophy characters to be added. Yes.
Is that correct, OJ?
Pyra and Mithra were not an assist. They're not assist trophies.
When I read it, I was like, that's probably okay.
So yeah.
Okay, there we go.
They had spirits.
They had spirits. I think you mean spirits.
Maybe spirits.
Yeah, maybe
probably spirits.
But that was never a thing. That was never a rule because they,
people made it a thing. You know what I mean?
People made it their own rule, but that was never. That was never.
Yeah, and honestly, was this a rule we were told by Nintendo and all of them, or was it a rule that somebody went, I think that's a rule, and then we all just went with it?
It's
that's
that.
Pretty much what it is. Yeah.
So spirits as fighters, no more sword characters, that kind of thing. Okay.
Because Min Min was a spirit. And Min Min's not in the game, so
yeah. You got another Discord question, Evan?
Have you thought about doing a Spawncast on Clubhouse at some point?
Clubhouse?
I haven't. No Clubhouse like the. Oh well, we're okay. So we're definitely old here because Clubhouse is like the new this new chat social media platform thing.
Oh, I thought it was Clubhouse games. I was like, yeah, I'd like to play Clubhouse games with you guys.
Clubhouse is, you could use it as like a podcasting type thing, but it's more of just a place to discuss different topics with other like-minded people. That's really all it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Discord?
What?
So Discord?
Yeah.
No, this is where all the people talk about NFTs and
it's. I've heard it's like
my Discord,
rich Zoomers or some shit.
No, it's weird who you're gonna run into on there. I was on there the other day, and Lindsay Lohan's talking about NFTs. So
yeah, that sounds like a bad time.
The internet's weird now. Go ahead, Evan. What's the Discord question?
We have a suggestion for a guest. Mary Kish was brought up, and then let's see. This is if OJ's on, and to ask everyone the appeal of Monster Hunter gameplay versus the appeal of fighting game gameplay. Compare and contrast.
Two totally different.
What? I've heard the comparison.
I can make the comparison. I was talking about this with Nakat, who's a fighting game. He's a Smash Brothers player. The thing about it is you have invincibility frames, you have ending lag. There are things that you can compare. When your frames start up, how fast is that? There are things that you have to look for, visual cues in terms of Monster Hunter. It's not exactly the same, and it's weird. It's a weird comparison, but there can be a case being made for that in terms of how you do things. And button combos and stuff.
I feel like it would be a better comparison though if you were to compare it to a Warriors game or to an Astral Chain. Those, they're two totally different setups and two different types of styles.
I agree a lot with the fighting game comparison because to me it feels like that most of the combos of how you find your combo style and then you kind of wait for that particular opening and then do your combo every single time and then trying to retreat. It as somebody who's not great at fighting games but respects and enjoys them, it does actually have that fighting game vibe to me. And I really, once I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, Astral Chain kind of has that type of vibe to it too, in terms of looking, reacting, seeing how frames start up. All that plays a part into it. But fighting games are kind of like the core of lots of stuff, though. To be honest, in terms of just how a fighting game would work,
This is a couple of super chats here. I Live for Retro says, "Hey guys, what is your favorite fan-made video game? Any good ones you can recommend?" Favorite fan-made video game?
The Sonic one,
Sonic
right?
Mania.
Yeah.
Sonic Mania.
Sonic Mania.
RGT 85, the video game on the NES.
Stop.
That is
a
Sonic
game.
Mania for you too, Jordan? Sonic Mania?
No, absolutely.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
See, Jordan had backup last time.
Yeah, no, I don't have the backup.
Somebody made a sequel to Chrono Trigger. It is a full-blown sequel. You can download it for free. People even print it on carts so you can play it on your Super Nintendo. It's called Chrono Trigger Crimson Echoes. Cool. It's extremely good. It's really interesting. All new story, lots of new stuff. Really good.
That was a refresh people would have made all the time back in the day. Crimson Echoes. It was a pain to make. Blitz says, "OJ, you drinking Trulies? Please rank your favorite flavors."
I haven't had Trulies in a while, but anything with the strawberry is good.
Their lemonade is top tier. Everything else, seltzer's good, but the lemonade is the top tier.
Lemonade's great. I had the Truly seltzer lemonade. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the strawberry, I think it was strawberry mango, or was it strawberry banana? I'm not sure what the drink was, but it came in 4-packs and it came with different ones. And the worst one was the black cherry. I didn't really like that too much, but the strawberry stuff, the lemonade I think those were the top for me. But I'm a big strawberry banana type of, protein smoothie person. So anything that does strawberries or bananas or like lemonade, I drink half and half. So I like those. So yeah, well, the diet half and half. The other ones come with sugar.
Carry with another one of those little emoji things on YouTube. Pretty cool. Then Shinru says, if Balon Wonderland didn't have a demo, if they did the same thing with Cyberpunk, would everyone have pre-ordered the game or bought it day one? Ooh, Sean.
Probably not.
If there wasn't Sean, they would have, yeah.
Okay, hold on. What if they just showed nothing but the CG stuff? Never really showed any actual gameplay, and then released the game.
I think, honestly, I feel like they could have shown gameplay and not released a demo, and I would have bought it.
Okay,
the demo was like, no, I'm not buying this. This is horrible.
Yeah,
that's what ruined everything.
So show like 30 seconds of gameplay that's very purposeful, only certain things, right? So not to give away that it's a bad game, and then send review codes day one, release day, so no one had a chance to review it, and then you would have bought it for $60, Sean.
Yes, no question.
They should have put the Supersonic costume as the only gameplay shown, and people would have bought it 100%.
Where you're messing up, okay? You got to be more deceptive.
I mean, I think I'd love to watch a RGT video talking about.
Oh, yo, what if there was like Sean comes home real excited with this game and is like, I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna stream it day one. We're gonna play this with the community. This is gonna be great.
Just title it "The Biggest Disappointment in My Life," and that's it. You're good to go.
That would have been that would have been amazing to see Sean like slowly realize what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right over there, Sean.
He had to hold back. He realized he wasn't muted.
Line. Yeah,
okay.
we're at the line. RJ Barrett hit one free throw. We're up 5 with 2.5 left. Milwaukee has no timeouts. RJ ices the game with 2 free throws. Let's go. That's a win.
I never thought I'd want to see RGT85 commentary.
Liam Warner said,
dude, the next NBA Jam, if you can be an announcer for it.
Please.
Liam Warner says
that would be a great announcer.
Is there a AAA fighter with adaptive triggers yet? I think on the PS5. I don't believe so. No, I mean Guilty Gear wasn't. No. Taker said
they probably wouldn't want to do stuff like that because it might, throw you off when you're trying to play the game.
Taker says Max is just jealous of those Balon NPC dance moves.
Yeah, well, so that's one thing that they took away. Remember in the demo, Sean, how all the NPCs disappeared as you got close? That most of them don't do that. They do a little bit, but you can get closer. So a lot of them they all dance like they remind me of Jet Set Radio Future, where everyone's having like a cool ass party, and then you walk up and they slowly start fading away. Yeah, I'm jealous of those people. I mean, they are dancing 24 hours a day in the shittiest game ever, but hey,
they seem so happy.
They do, yeah. I like the character design. The main character looks weird as hell. Those kids look like they have some sort of like medical disorder, but the rest of the characters are cool.
Tijo says one point that's not being talked about is that physical games also are affected by the potential shutdown due to missing DLC and possibly updates.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I've seen people talk about how a lot of online servers are being shut off quicker and quicker. So all the games that require it for a platinum are impossible to platinum.
Good point, actually. Yeah, achievements and trophies would be impossible to do then.
There's a fantastic Chronicles of Riddick game called Assault on Dark Athena. It's really good. It includes all of Butcher Bay in it, and there's an interesting multiplayer mode where you play as a bunch of guards and one person plays Riddick, and it's asymmetrical multiplayer. It existed for like 1 month in 2011, and it was so good, and now it's all gone.
Elliot says, off topic, what do you guys think about using Age of Calamity fighting mechanics in Breath of the Wild 2?
No. Nah.
I don't know about that.
As much as I do like the game, I like both gameplays for what they are. I think Zelda wouldn't really benefit from that because then you gotta like scale enemies up, you gotta scale bosses up. Like you're super strong. It wouldn't fit like the feel that an actual Zelda game has.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. And another problem is that like Click said there, but like. You maybe like no weapon breaking. You could take that.
Yeah. Or repair and reforge them or something.
There's certain elements of Age of Calamity that would be good. Blacksmith, forging weapons, stuff like that. That's great. But the combat, no. Warriors is Warriors. Like it doesn't separate the two. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity is a Warriors game. It's nothing with the Zelda skin on top of it, which is fine. I love the game myself.
Yeah.
D'Angelo says, finally got a PS5 this week. Question about Microsoft, though. Do you think xCloud with more Eastern games will help Microsoft in Japan's thriving mobile market? I don't think so. I think it's more or less Microsoft in general having a hard time in Japan from their branding.
Is that xCloud?
xCloud, yeah. Like, so getting xCloud on the phones in Japan.
They like to play mobile games. Like nobody's gonna play Gears of War on a phone in Japan or something.
I like playing gotcha games are really popular in Japan.
Yeah, it's
Very
about
popular.
the game. Yeah, it's about the game, not necessarily about it's mobile. No, it's got to be the game too. So
Microsoft would probably be better off legitimately just funding gotcha games and seeing if one of them sticks in Japan. Just for developers there, they're like, all right, here's $10 million, go make a really good gotcha game, put it out, and see what happens.
Like a Viva Pinata, I think that could work. They make a Viva Pinata game, make it mobile, see how it works in Japan. I think that would be something that they could do.
I just realized what they're going to do. They're going to make a Banjo-Kazooie gotcha game, and that's going to be the next Banjo game.
Oh, don't say
That's
that.
what if I was them, that's what I would take all their rare characters and make a gotcha game, rare bash.
You
And
probably
if you want to break into Japan, do that. You have Banjo, you have old school Joanna Dark. I don't know.
They're going to do Lost Odyssey gotcha.
Okay,
You
went too far. You went too far.
You're throwing everything.
Stop right there, sir.
Phil's listening to the podcast, writing down notes right now.
Yeah, write that down. Write that down.
Stop right there. Don't do that, John.
How did people? This is from Sam. How did people develop a game like Balon Wonderland and say, "Yeah, that's good. Let's release it"? Crazy. I have no idea how that happened. I really don't. Like, unless they were just like, a delay is going to do nothing. We've already developed enough of this. We just got to put this thing out there.
It plays like it was made by like 10 people. And I don't specifically mean that as an insult, but it really plays like a game that only had a couple developers and they never had any outside employees to test it and look at it, because it definitely has that feel of like 10 friends making a crappy movie or something. It's too raw.
See, I told you. Look, Phil Spencer's watching. He's in the chat right now.
Nice. What's up, Phil?
Christopher says, should they implement a sensor bar for Switch 2? I hope not.
No.
Does it need it? You can already do.
I don't know. Nintendo would probably do something like they'd give you 2 sensor bars.
Baby.
Finally. Pixelated says, why is keyboard and mouse support an afterthought on Series X and PS5 when both options are readily available on PS5? Since various Bethesda first-person games dropped on Game Pass, I've gravitated back to my PC. Probably because most people don't really use keyboard and mouse on their couch.
Yeah.
People, I mean, they've tried releasing like accessories to do that. Like, what was it called? Like the turret or something? It was this like literal like laptop looking thing that you would use, and it was like a keyboard and a mouse. I don't think that sold well at all because it's like $200 or something. But that's the biggest thing. People sit down in the living room, they just grab a controller, and that's it. Wishbone says Sega Japan is live stream right now, but it's nothing but disappointment. That sounds about right.
Shoot.
That was your Metacritic Publisher of the Year.
Oh, that was such a weird ranking article thing. Oh, that was so strange.
Sounds about like a Sega stream, man. Sega's awesome, by the way. I love Sega, but yeah, their streams can be a little bit rough at times.
Victor says It Takes Two is a surprise hit. It looks like a simple platformer, but the movement is amazing. It expands with fun abilities. Joseph is magic. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like I said, I'll look into that next week when I'm done Rise, just before Outriders comes out. That's the
Not too
plan.
surprised. A Way Out was fun too.
It really was, yeah.
It's cool. Just like, collab games like that.
Oh yeah, I'm curious if he's going to keep doing the co-op stuff. I mean, it's interesting that he's able to do all of that and say yes. Then you could also give a pass away to somebody so they can play with you. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Did you see Joseph Ferris, the director, had some sort of like statement of like, if you can prove to me that you don't enjoy It Takes Two, I'll pay you $10,000 or something. He has like some sort of bet like that. Like if you legitimately hate my game, I'll pay you.
That guy's awesome, man. I like his personality.
Cameron says, longtime fan, love you guys. Misclick and Nate got me into Splatoon. Spawnwave and Arlo got me into the first Zelda game, Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
My first.
Okay.
Wow. Huh.
Wow.
Yay.
Gotta start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Still Alive says, best shoot 'em ups on the Switch in your opinions. I mean, Ikaruga's there, right?
Yeah, Ikaruga's on there. What was that? Raiden 5?
Raiden's on there. Is it 4 or 5?
I think it's 5. Yeah, Raiden 5 director's cut. Really. I mean, it's it's Raiden, but I think for a shmup, I prefer vertical versus horizontal shmups. But like that's very good. You got the Darius collections on there as well. There's a bunch of them, really. I'm
gonna go with the old school one that came out towards the launch, Graceful Explosion Machine. I thought that was a lot of fun, and the HD Rumble in there is really good. So yeah.
This is from Xbot again. Jeff Grubb went from Starfield is totally coming 2021 dude to I never said it, man. He lied about Xbox Live, Elden Ring. Why do we believe him and Nate? Hey, Jeff Grubb's got some good info. Well, you're talking about Xbot.
Never said it was totally coming this year. He gave a percentage. He said that Microsoft intends or has hopes to show it this summer, and that the expectation was that they could release it later this year. So if you're going to make stupid donations, why don't you try to get your facts straight?
Don't worry about it. He's been
Xbox had a mental breakdown about the PS3 Vita stores closing and said, "Why are you reporting on rumors?" And it's like, because people talk about rumors. It hasn't been confirmed. Like, okay, what's wrong with you?
And I want to say something as somebody who has talked to developers here and there. Sometimes you hear stuff, and sometimes leaks are you're talking to one guy inside a company who tells you a date or tells you the plans, but plans do change. There's a million levels of corporate and management and people all the way at the top at Microsoft or whatever. So maybe somebody did legitimately tell Jeff Grubb this game is coming out 2021, and then the 800 other people working there said, we need to kick it back. I don't know. It's hard to say that he's wrong. We just need to figure out what's happening.
And actually, you know what, Nate, since you woke up, let's go ahead and give Nate some props, okay? Because he might have actually been right. All right, he posted up the Vince McMahon GIF on Twitter of him walking to the ring, talking about the Spawncast, because there is a report once again at Bloomberg following up saying that they were going to be for the Switch revision that Bloomberg continues to report on from Takashi Machizuki. After talking about the OLED displays, now talking about the upgraded CPU, which basically the SoC, I think is what they were trying to say. Additional RAM, and what was the other thing they mentioned, Nate, that you've been talking about for a while?
DLSS.
There you go. So corroborated from Bloomberg.
No, not real.
I can't believe we're talking about rumors. Oh my God.
So there we have it, Nate. You appear to have at least been backed up here by Bloomberg, so it's good to see. Very interesting.
It's a good endorsement to get from Bloomberg. It's pretty high.
Yeah, but once again, it's going to be a couple of months before anything even comes out about any plans for Nintendo in there. So it's basically like, okay, we have this, and now we just wait for legit 4 months or something.
Yeah, you'll wait. I mean, legitimate confirmation from Nintendo itself won't be coming for a long time. But this is obviously this is a snowball going down a hill, and it's continuing to pick up the same information, which means there's something to it. This isn't just smoke.
Also, I want to bring this up. I want to bring this up real quick because people keep saying that like it was mentioned every single year that like the Switch Pro or something was going to come out, and I think dating back to before the Switch even came out, there was that mention of stuff at the factory. I remember that, but for the most part, 2 years ago, there was talked about there being a Switch Mini and a Switch Pro. And I think a lot of people moved away from the Switch Pro and said, okay, yeah, there's definitely a Switch Mini happening. And that ended up being correct, the Switch Lite. Last year, there was talks about the Switch Pro until Nintendo said, yeah, we're not doing any kind of revision. And then everybody moved away from that. But now Nintendo's not saying there won't be a Switch Pro. They just have no comment.
Well, didn't Nintendo say that we're not doing one this year?
Yeah, this year was their word. Yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah. They didn't say they weren't doing one. They just said no, not one this year.
The thing about the 2019 report is there technically was another Switch. It was the better battery life one.
That's true.
That came out with the Switch Lite. So,
actually, that's a good point. Actually, a lot of these reports have been correct then, because it was like the Switch Mini, which was Switch Lite, but no one thought was going to happen. It was fake news then. We get the Switch Lite, and then we did get a revised Switch, technically, with the Moriko chip that was 6 nanometer fabrication. So, actually, that was technically correct too.
You know what the funny thing is, John? More people, I think, thought that the Switch Mini or whatever, Switch Lite, wasn't going to happen than Switch Pro at this point. Personally, because everyone was saying, well, why have a Switch? Remember, like when
you're right. Yeah.
Why have a Switch Mini? It's already portable.
And we started to get more info, and I was like, this is gonna be so weird because it's gonna be a Switch that doesn't switch. And I was like, nah, that's not it. Then we actually got that leak from the factory, and it was the turbo switch. And I was like, this is it. And people were
that
like,
was like the dead ass picture. Everyone was like, no, it's fake. And it
was this right in front of the camera, and we're like, oh, that's interesting. It even had the full code number and everything, and people were like, it might be fake.
Yeah, and I was like, no, that's the Switch Mini, and it's like, nah, there it is. Somebody literally snapped a pic.
I think enough of us, if I remember correctly, like we thought it made sense because Nintendo always goes light before they do an upgrade of some sort.
Well, I like the idea of it. I think I was the person that was the most skeptical of it being real because there was so many people online already saying I play my normal Switch handheld. I don't know if I need one that can't dock. So I was the one person who thought I'd like it, but I'd be curious if it exists. And yeah, holy crap!
So
I think it was a big success.
Tend to forget history with some of this stuff because it's actually been pretty dead on. Yeah, to be honest. So
to me, I thought it was going to happen when they say, "Oh, Switch that doesn't switch." Okay, a Nintendo 3DS that doesn't do 3D.
Yeah, I remember you saying that years ago. I remember
that was well, what's the whole point of it? Well, it does 2D. It's called a 2DS. So I mean, like a Switch that doesn't switch. That to me, it was a replacement. If Nintendo did this, it would be a replacement for the DS, which essentially kind of what it is. It's a replacement for that, and you just play everything on there, and Nintendo's done with that. So I when people said it Switch that doesn't switch, I was just like, well, Nintendo's done crazy things like that, like take away the main gimmick of the system anyway, and just brand it as something else. So I mean,
now I'm not going to say that there are definitely people that thought that there was going to be like a full-on PS4 Switch Pro like every year this past like 3 years, but for the most part, I think a lot of the reports have been pretty accurate.
Who's that?
Bigger.
Stop ignoring me. Who are you talking about?
I don't know who you're talking about.
There are people. What people? I don't hear anybody. Who are you talking about? Huh?
So I actually think a lot of the reports from Bloomberg and stuff have been pretty correct. Although Takashi Machizuki did report 1440p before the Switch came out, so who knows?
Bastard! Fooled us all.
I think that this is. I think the Switch Pro is real. I think that part of the reason there's so much conversation around this, because I've noticed that there's been a bunch of hype videos, of course, but I have seen people saying like, why is everyone so excited for the Switch Pro? And I think that part of it is that we appreciate Switch games as they are now. We like the art, we like the load times, whatever, but I think that more resolution, more graphics, the idea of seeing the most beautiful possible Zelda, I mean, I'm always down for it. So I think there's a lot of like those people that are jumping on Switch late who are going to be extra hyped for this.
Yeah, sure.
I hope they do like a patch for the Switch Pro for Monster Hunter Rise.
I know, dude. I thought the whole time.
60 on that?
Ooh,
60 frames? Yeah. Ooh, that'd be pretty cool. Actually, I'd rather just go to 60 frames because I'm fine with how it looks now. If it goes to 60 frames, that'd be cool for like the overall feeling and input of the game. But you know what? I did have one question before we move on and finish up with the super chats and anything else there. So I thought about this because people were talking about the overall pricing of this thing, right? That was something else that came up, and it was an idea that it could be $350 to $400, and a lot of people thought, hey, I don't know if Nintendo could actually get $400 for a system. Like the most expensive they tried was $350. That was with the Wii U, right? It's like the deluxe edition. And people look at that and say, okay, that was too expensive, obviously, because the Wii U didn't sell. But I think they can sell the Switch at $400, the Switch Pro or Switch whatever. I think they could do it if they market it correctly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Wii U didn't. Go ahead, Ms. Click.
I was just to say the marketing they've done with the Switch so far has been. They've targeted the audience properly. They've grown up with the audience this generation around. And I think overall, people have had a really positive reaction to the Switch. They've had positive memories. And if you can do that amplified or better, I think some people are going to be like, yeah, this is worth it to me. Like, I don't know. I genuinely think that they could do 400 if they really, really wanted to. And you know what? Like, I'm still on my base Switch. Like, I haven't bought another one. The only thing I would buy would be like
Switch?
I have they sent me out a Switch Lite. They sent me out a Switch Lite, so I have that, and I'll play that. I'll play certain games on my Switch Lite and certain games, docked here with my normal Switch. But like I know that for me personally, like if they were like, hey, this is 400, you're getting all this new better stuff. You're gonna see things.
I don't even want to say how many Switches I have. Then click.
Here's the thing.
I'm gonna say like 8.
I think I've paid
it's
for
close.
5.
It's close. I think it might be 7.
Oh my
the
gosh.
Wii U didn't sell at $350 because the Wii U had a very bad, yes, I'll say bad launch lineup when it comes to first party games.
Sure.
And the marketing on it was confusing. Everything about the system wasn't very.
But everyone said there need to be third party though. We need third party games at launch. There's a bunch of third party.
You need third party, but you need first party. First party is what. Why do PlayStation systems sell? Because the third party games, maybe to some degree. But look at your best selling PlayStation games: Uncharted, your Marvel Spider-Mans, your God of Wars. Look at the Nintendo Switch, Ghost of Tsushima.
I would
look
say
at the Nintendo Switch.
PS5 right now, it's probably just sold on hype currently.
It is. And the thing of it is,
right now,
you're in a completely different video game marketplace than you were with the Wii U. Nintendo is now a name that people once again like. I saw someone in the chat say, well, you could get a PlayStation 5 for $500 or $100 more. If a Switch Pro is $400, no one's going to buy that. People were buying the Switch during the pandemic at over $400 on eBay just because they wanted the fucking thing. So the Switch is already sold at a $400 price point for a while, for a good chunk of a year because of supply issues.
Yep.
And the thing of it is, it's not the only option. You still have the Switch Lite. You still have the standard Nintendo Switch, from what we assume, because, they keep saying a family of systems. Mm-hmm. So this is for the people who want that extra boost. This is for us. This is for the more hardcore gamer, That's how I view it.
Well, have y'all heard the ragu philosophy, which is that they discovered that instead of trying to make one perfect sauce, you got to have a bunch of sauces. And some people want one, somebody wants chunky mushrooms, some people wants garden blend, somebody wants 4 cheeses. But having more sauces on the shelf increased your overall sales, even if people are only buying parts of it. I think this is kind of that thing as well, of like, they realized that we have a 2DS, a 3DS, a 3DS XL, a 2DS XL, all of them sell better across the board just because there's more options and more tiers. I think that Nintendo's trying to do that again. If you have a Switch Lite, a Switch Revision, and now the Switch Pro, people are going to buy all of them more across the board.
So they show off this new Switch, right? They announce it. What do they got to announce to get you off that base Switch? Okay, because apparently that's like you've bought one Switch. That's it. What do they got to announce? And it's 400. It's 400. What do they got to do to be like?
If you just brought in even just more power, battery life for sure. But I think for me, they could even just be like, hey, this thing is not mobile. I would be fine with that too. Like if you couldn't undock it,
okay,
if it was just stationary, wouldn't bother me either. But I play my Switch mainly docked, so I might be a different case. But for me, I would just like to see more power behind it, get some better graphics and more support for other parties wanting to bring their games over. And I think they realize that. Like I think Nintendo's like, we're making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money. There are games that can't come over right now, or games that are coming over and we're getting a bad rep because they look like crap. Like if you could have those come over and they look better and they run better, I think it's a win-win for everybody. So I don't know. For me, you could always be like bigger screen and stuff like that, but I don't know how that would affect the battery life and stuff in the long run. But yeah,
so they just said 4K, runs better games. You'd be like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very good. I think that's how a lot of people are, especially people who are more enthusiasts, I guess you'd say, would be like, yeah, okay, cool, 4K, that works. I'm in for that. But also, they keep selling Switch systems to the same household over and over again. I have a feeling there are several households that have multiple Switch systems in them right now.
Yours and OJ's?
Mine. Yeah, Max has a couple. Jordan has a couple. Sean has a couple of Switch systems.
A couple.
Well, yeah, I think I have 3 Switches. My roommate has a separate Switch. He's got the Animal Crossing Switch and stuff. I think a lot of people have a lot of.
I know a couple people who got
for a more normal example. My cousin, she has one of her kids has a Switch Lite, and then they have a Switch that they keep at home just stocked.
Yeah, I know one family got 3 Switch Lites. Actually, all at once, all past Christmas, just for the kids. So it's like, oh, all right, there you go. There's 3 Switches in the house now. So that's what Nintendo said they want to do, is have multiple Switches in a household. So
all comes down to marketing, how they market it, and what kind of what's in it. If they do that well, then people will buy it at that price. People buy stupid overpriced iPhones all day. So
that's true. And you know what? Some of the hardware and some of those like MacBooks and stuff they put out were pretty basic, but they dressed it up and made it look pretty, and it sold for like thousands of dollars.
I don't want to talk about Apple and their schemes. Okay.
Actually, Nate, what do you think about this? Okay. Do you think that if Nintendo dressed it up a bit more, it would be an easier sell too? Like instead of just be all plastic, it may be more of an aluminum type body, something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a premium shell. This is going to be a premium product, so they can justify coming in at a higher price. It's not going to be the same plastic shell and outing that we already have on the current Switch. They're going to make this look special, and feel like you're actually buying something that is quality. So they have to, especially if they do want to come in at $350, $379, or $400. You have to make this stand out from the Switch that's on the shelves right now, beyond just the new technology. You have to have something else to sell it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most expensive they try to sell a system at is $400, which is interesting because that's like the accepted price of like Microsoft and Sony, basically.
People are buying $500 PS5s and Xbox Series X's. I mean,
$1,000 PS5s. People were
like scalping ones.
Yeah, scalping people.
Well, I talked about this in private to Sean this week, but I have one of my best friends in real life bought a Nintendo Switch during the pandemic, and she paid $400 for her Switch the day Animal Crossing came out, and she was proud of it, of being like, yeah, I got scalped a little bit, but I only paid like a 30% markup.
That's
subjective. It's based on what you feel. You know, value is always going to be subjective. So if something is worth $400 to you because you want to see it on a 4K TV, you will pay that $400 to get it. Because
bro, I've been looking at a fucking CRT TV from back in the day, and I found it on eBay for like $500, and it is taking a lot for me to not buy this. And you know exactly what TV it is.
I'll just mail you one. Just give me like $35 and a 30-incher.
Do I know what CRT it is?
Of course, this is Samsung GX. When you'd go to fucking KB Toy Store and you would walk in, and depending on which location, if it was a strip mall location, it would be in the gaming section. But if it was a KB Toy Store at a mall, you would walk in and it'd be right there by the front desk, and it had the speakers, and you would open it and the speakers would come out on the side, and it was the fucking coolest thing in the world. It's the greatest thing in the world, and I want one so fucking bad.
Realize back in the day at Best Buy, they would in order to show off like Super Mario 64, because that was like just came out, it was this big thing at the time, right? They would hang, I swear it had to have been 20 CRTs from the ceiling, and like you'd walk in and see this like multi-screen picture basically of like Mario playing at like the little station down there in the video game section. And now I'm realizing just how heavy that entire like contraption would have been now that you're talking about the CRT, Sean. I don't know if it's me who saw that, but I just remember walking into a Best Buy or Caldor or whatever it was, and you look up and it's just there's Mario 64 on all these CRTs all at once. Big screen.
We had that, but it was Echo the Dolphin on the Dreamcast, and so that was up there seeing humongous, and I was like, is this real life? Whoa.
Yep. I don't know if that was just me, but I remember there's like so many CRTs up there. Now I'm thinking I'm like lifting one of those 32-inch CRTVs is a whole thing on its own.
Well, now there's one on eBay for $250 shipped, and it is taking a lot for me to not buy this.
Secure the TV.
You spent more money on a classic WWF wrestling ring.
I did, but that came with figures and a custom steel cage.
Did you go over that? No,
KB toy memory.
Here's the thing. I have no room for this thing.
Did you show off those figures in the ring on Tables, Ladders, and Sean?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Is that coming back?
I don't miss CRTVs, to be honest, because
stop it.
Remember the high pitch noise as soon as you turn it on? Ooh, that bothered me. I couldn't sleep at night.
I always love that
parents
static
were like,
when you
"Good
turn it
night."
off, though, that like sizzle. Oh.
Yeah, you like rub your hand. Yeah, did any of you guys
That's
ever
the
get
best
busted
part.
from your parents one time? Like you played video games and you weren't supposed to? Like they could tell if you did because they would like check for the static.
Oh, my parents weren't that crazy.
Yeah, my
parents would just take
like,
this
rub down
fucking
the
system
TV.
away.
Yeah, my parents took the system away but I started to my friends would lend me a console and I would hide it in my room, and then I'd take my like borrowed console out and plug it in.
You can't play it though because the high pitched noise, like as soon as you put it on, it goes across the house.
I got rid of all my CRTVs when I did my last move. I think maybe I have one left, but the definitely thing is just the size and the bulk. And I mean, that's why I just HDMI mod all my
the
consoles.
TV on you though. That's you said they took away the TV on you when you got in trouble, or they took away the system on you?
I've had that. They took away my consoles most of the time. One time, here's one of the worst. My dad took away my original Game Boy for like 2 years, and then for my like 13th birthday, he gave me my Game Boy back. He wrapped the Game Boy I already had and gave it to me. He's like, "Do you think I'm a goldfish? Do you think I forgot that this is my game? My motherfucker's name inside the battery pack. Do you think I forgot this, Dad?"
Man, Max, he's like, Max is like, he took away my Game Boy. Did he take away your room one? So the worst my dad ever did was he took away our doors. He unscrewed my door and said I was too bad to have a door. So for like 3 years, I had to hang a blanket over my door.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when like your parents take away your system, but they don't unplug it from the back of the system. They just rip it out of the wall and take all the cables. That's how you know you're in trouble.
Yeah,
my parents never they never did that. I'd get in trouble, but they never take away my video games because at least they said go to your room. I'm like, all right.
That ain't punishment though.
Yeah. Huh?
That wouldn't be punishment.
Because I like to play outside. I like to like play basketball and stuff like that.
Outside.
So like I was actually pissed when I couldn't like run outside and do stuff.
I was so pasty. I was like, I'm gonna go play Mortal Kombat.
My dad would always say, "I'm taking away the Sega," no matter what the system was. It could be like he did it for my N64, and I'd always be like, "It's an N64. It's made by Nintendo," and then he would just keep it for longer. I would try to find it and stuff, and I'd get in trouble.
I did that a lot. So this big scar on my middle finger, I peeled it down to the bone. My parents took away my Nintendo 64 for like a year and a half at one point, and they gave it back to me. They're like, all right, it's hidden in the top of the garage. So I went out to the garage and I tried to get it down, but I'm so tiny. I jumped up to try and grab it, and my hand went into the gears of the garage, and it ground my finger all the way down to the bone. And I was afraid they'd take my Nintendo 64 away again, so I didn't tell anybody. I literally wrapped it in duct tape. So for like a year, I played Nintendo 64 without moving my middle finger.
Oh my god!
Finger.
So anytime if anybody ever meets me at a convention, look at my left hand, my middle finger. I almost cut my middle finger off to play Nintendo 64.
Taco 4 wasn't worth it, bro. The GameCube was so
that.
It wasn't. That was not worth it, in my opinion. On a GameCube.
Yeah. Taco says, with how powerful the Xbox Series X, PS5 are right now, how long do you think they could last on market while still being supported by developers? I think it'll be a longer generation. I think they'll try to get like a solid 7 or 8 years out of these systems. Angie says, I entered the Amiibo drawing too. Can Spawn Wave sign the Amiibo Forever Wins? Thanks for the shout out. I'm so excited to be a member now. I don't know how well that'll go over. Signing what could be a serious piece of a collection for somebody with Monster Hunter. But hey, if the person wants it signed, there you go.
Look at them eBay prices, and
you could always add a little card to it with the signature rather than signing directly on it. I don't know.
That's true.
What are the eBay prices at? I want to check.
I looked because I wanted one because I don't want to open this. And
Torres says, just showing love and what's up, OJ? Yeah.
What up?
Oh,
Zaire Miller says, I think most Balon budget probably went to the CGI. That's probably correct.
$200 already.
Dark.
No, that's for the collectors. The Amiibo by itself is selling for over 60 though. Sold listings.
This one's from this is a large donation from Dark B Andy. Thank you, Dark B Andy, saying, question to Nate. Time to bring the hate. From every Spawncast I've known you have serious hate on gaming tribalism. What's your thoughts on that? I've dealt with fans white knighting on companies such as Naughty Dog's Crunch on Last of Us 2 and Balan Wonderworld.
Wait, who's white knighting for Balon?
Nobody.
Me.
We got him. We found him. The only one.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, gaming tribalism is it's one of the more toxic aspects of this hobby.
Most
when
tribalism,
people
yeah.
just come out and you white knight as like Naughty Dog, as you mentioned, when it comes to Crunch, and it's all because a large percentage of fans in this community they look at these companies as sports teams. Instead of rooting for the Knicks, they root for Microsoft, they root for Sony, they root for Nintendo, and they forget these are corporations. Their whole purpose is to create a marketing plan to get your money. And they put the CEOs in these Nintendo Directs, which was one of the most fascinating, well-constructed piece of marketing any company has ever done, by putting Reggie Fils-Aimé front and center in a direct. What it allowed to do is that fans watching it thought Reggie was their friend. You felt a connection to the company. Reggie was a salesman. That's all he was, but it was a trick. And that's what a lot of these companies have been doing now. You put a CEO, you put a developer front and center, and all of a sudden fans are saying, oh, I really like Microsoft, I really like Sony, I really like Nintendo because of this presenter. It's a marketing trick. And that's where a lot of this tribalism comes from, is that they want to defend their friend. None of these companies are our friend. They'll never be our friend. You are a faceless nothing. You are a brick in the wall to them. You're just a vending machine. You're an ATM to get your money. They want to make you feel special.
But you're a brick having fun. You're a brick that's having fun.
Also, I want to say,
smiling,
I want to say, Sony might want to start leaving Jim Ryan out of some of these. The way I'm seeing it online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to move away from the fan of like, don't root for these companies like a sports team. They're a company. They're billion-dollar industries, and that's it. You can have a favorite game. You can have a favorite company, but don't go out of your way to say, oh no, I have to protect them. I'm going to stand in front of them and take the sling and arrows to protect Nintendo or Microsoft, a billion-dollar, company. Don't do that. It's okay to critique these companies. It's okay to enjoy what they make, but take a step back. They're not your friend. They'll never be your friend. They don't care who you are. They don't know who you are. You're just $60 or $100 a year to them. And that's, enjoy what they make. Don't defend them. You're nothing. At the end of the day.
Don't hate them all at the same time but at the same time, don't hate them because they're a company. Like, you can like their practices or not like their practices. You can be objective about it. But to you, is it worth the money? Okay, then make the purchase. But, also at the same time, don't take that hate of, oh, they're a corporation, and then throw that on someone else who might find something worth the 60 that you don't feel is worth the 60. Because beauty is subjective, and what one person might enjoy, someone else might not. Unless it's Balan Wonderworld, then no one.
I knew you were gonna fucking goddamn it. I could feel it. I was like, I know where this goes.
I think people worry too much about what other people want or like. It's like, get whatever the hell you want. And if somebody likes whatever it is and says, this is why I like it, then okay, whatever. That's kind of how I feel about it. Sometimes people get crazy. Obviously, people get crazy about stuff, but that's okay. People are allowed to say whatever the hell they want at the end of the day.
I think it's more so the people when you go online, and I'll use CD Projekt Red. They can come out and say, oh yeah, we did this crunch, we released this bad game, and you still see people come out and say, yeah, but it's not their fault. Like, you don't need to defend a bad business. They made a bad business deal. They made a bad game. It's okay to say they messed this up. It's the people who run out of anywhere and defend every shitty thing a company does. The company doesn't need you to do it. They'll recover. And that's where the gaming community as a whole, it has to grow up. It has to grow up in so many ways that you don't have to defend a company blind. A game can be bad. If you enjoy it, that's fine. But when a company does do something that is bad business, hold them accountable for what they do. Don't run to defend the company because you think they're going to come to your Twitter account or they're going to come to your Facebook page or wherever you're defending them and be like, hey, I just want you to know I'm here for you. They're not here for you.
I appreciate that, Doug.
I mean, it's been going on for a long time. He says he's got to grow up, dude. This happened on the playground back in the day with the Genesis and the Bit Wars. So,
well, I think it's been amplified by social media and stuff because the craziest fanboys spread the farthest. The guy whose name is like I drink Jim Ryan or whatever, that guy is going to get retweeted faster than someone named like Objective Gamer 22.
Objective Gamer. It's kind of like what someone just said in the chat. It's like the Joy-Con drift. You will have people come out and defend Nintendo over Joy-Con drift. No, it's bad. Hold them accountable for the flaw in their product design. If anyone comes out and say, well, it didn't happen to me, good for you.
It's happened to me 3 times.
The end of your statement should be, it didn't happen to me, but Nintendo should investigate and fix this. When you omit that second half, you're white knighting for the company for no reason. You're undermining everyone else who has had this problem just to say, well, I didn't. Uncle Nintendo's my friend. They're giving me a Christmas gift this year. Like, no, come on. the company. Move on. Grow up. They're not your friend. They'll never be your friend.
To be fair though, some of those Christmas gifts that like Xbox PR send out are pretty cool. So
I never get
You know, right? Can I get one?
Now it all makes
I
sense.
see it on Twitter. Okay, so
chair.
They send you a refrigerator. Made by The Rock.
Can we tell
Yeah,
you
one of
about
those-
Game Pass real quick?
Did you get one of those yellow seats?
I did not. I did not.
I want one though.
Yeah.
I wanted one until the game came out, and then I was like, oh man, I'm kind of glad I don't.
I still want one.
It's a
me
pain
one.
in the ass to put those chairs together, though.
It is. That's the
It
reason
is.
why I haven't bought a new chair yet.
Dude, my chair is missing like 5 screws in it. I don't know how the fuck it's still.
I had a
That tends to happen.
I had a friend in town who works for an esports org, and he made like 1,000 of those chairs while working at the esports warehouse or whatever. So when I got my chair in, so he built this for me in like 2 seconds. He literally just flipped it upside down and shoved all the parts together. And there you go. So I'm never gonna build one of these things.
Thanks again to Dark B Andy. Hopefully Nate's answer was good.
Hey, that's $100 answer.
You did go off for a little while there, so. Zoop says the Final Fantasy 7 question was for adorkable Dreamcast cutie foremost, not for him only.
Oh, as long as I get the cutie part in there, hell yeah, I appreciate that.
Scuff Studio says Spawn Wave, there's a spider on your wall, bro. Zooer says, did RGT pay for the bot reviews on
Hell
Did
no.
Sean?
Why
pay
would
for
I do that? I didn't even buy the game. I'm cheap.
Bro,
The puzzle pieces are fitting together here, Sean.
I'm shocked. I am shocked. Like, let it be known, chat. Look at the timeline we're in. We're in a place where the #1 Balon fan didn't buy Balon, but my dumbass did.
And Jordan did.
And poor Jordan.
Because of you.
No.
Because of you.
Hold on, Sean did
He
hype it up
literally
pretty hard.
said,
Let's go. Someone
"This
needs to
is
go
it."
back and look at some of the tweets that Sean put out around the time of like reveal. Someone needs to go pull those up real quick.
Yeah.
Right now. I just think you're missing out on a big video by not reviewing this. You hyped all of us up, and now you're gonna let your whole audience down by not talking about it.
No, because my audience saw my disappointment and my destruction for the demo.
Just
But they
please,
want to hear your disappointment.
just
of the full
just do
video.
the easy clickbait. I was wrong about Balon Wonderworld, and you're doing this on the thumbnail.
Let me read
I was
this
just
tweet
saying,
from
broke
RGT.
my heart.
September 17, 2020. Monster Hunter Rise and Balan Wonderworld in March 2021. That's my tweet in my veins.
Because it looked good. Look, I was 50% right.
In your veins, huh? Where's it at? It's not in your veins at all.
It's true. It's true.
What do you mean, Monster Hunter World? Where's Balon Wonderworld? You said in your veins. That's what you want. You
50%.
capitalized veins too. It was a capital VEIN in your veins.
It's a Simpsons reference.
Capital, baby.
It is a Simpsons reference about things that are so good you want to be one with them.
Oh, someone said retweet it.
You wanted to be
Retweet it.
in the
Yeah,
Wonderworld.
here, you know what? I'm retweeting it.
No. It's a lie.
I'm retweeting it right now.
I'll put it on the Spawncast account. Here we go.
Yeah, retweet on Spawncast too.
Mistakes were made.
That's great. This is from Ross saying, I'm so glad I bought a PSP and PS Vita last month. I just bought a 60 gigabyte fat PS3 this week with Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, PS2, PS3 recommendations. That is a solid one. I actually just picked up Shadow Hearts last week. I found it at a local store for, I think it was 65. So it was a good price on that one. But any of the RPGs you find in like the PS2 era were awesome. There were some really good ones.
He meant that he's going to do heroin in order to enjoy Balan.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh man. Lala says, has anyone tried the new Crash on the Run mobile game? It's pretty fun for mobile game. Love the show. Thanks.
I
Paul.
downloaded it. Have not played it yet.
I haven't. I'll be honest. The developers keep hitting me up. They want me to try it. They even said I could play it like a month early, and a month ago I still just forgot to even care.
Fish fan says, RGT, how is Gma doing? Any good Gma food recently?
I haven't seen her in like 2 weeks. 'Cause I've been busy with stuff and she's been busy with stuff, but she's doing good. I think she said she's coming over this upcoming week because my mother is coming into town and she wants to make sure that my house is somewhat in order.
Cameron says Zelda Breath of the Wild was my first Zelda. Knowing that, what Zelda game should I do next? I don't know anything about beyond Breath of the Wild.
They're all completely different than that game. So.
Yeah, they're not going to be the same.
Go Wind Waker.
Wind Waker is good, unless you're waiting for some of the ports to get announced later on.
That's true. Yeah, actually, that's good. She's right.
Hang out a little
Link
bit.
to the Past,
or Link to the original Zelda, or Link to the Past. I mean, those kind of have like a old, like the ghetto open world. You know, like back in the day, what was open world? You know?
Yeah, they're already on. They're already on the Nintendo Online service.
I was playing them this week, actually.
There you go. Link to the Past. Get on it. That's a good one.
You know, I usually don't go back to the games that I've already beat a million times, but Link to the Past is a game because you guys talk about it so much. And I remember beating Link to the Past back in the day, then beating it once more on like Wii Virtual Console. But I actually played it just a bit ago, and that game is phenomenal. It might be rising up my list of favorite Zelda games of all, because I just wanted to remember it again. It's great.
That's your homework, Cameron. Try out Link to the Past this week and then report back next weekend.
Is that game 60? Is it, or is it 30? What's the frame rate? Link to the Past? It just feels so smooth.
I think it's just regular 30, isn't it?
But it feels like just the controls just feel so on point, you know?
Yeah, it's a very good game. So yes, you should try it out and then let us know next Saturday night what you think, because it is a bit different than what we get now in games. But I'm curious to see how it ages for people who have tried Breath of the Wild as their only Zelda game. Mr. Roach says RGT with the Death Row comparison.
That was great.
Death Row was great. There's a pair of Patrick Ewing shoes that are Death Row ones, and I don't really like the color scheme. If I liked them, I would buy them.
Nice.
Hawk says if a new Resident Evil game comes to Switch using RE Engine, would Misclick play it? Is that going to be the first game? Is that going to be the game she starts with? Is the one on the
no,
Switch?
she has to do 2 first. I thought we planned this all out.
Yeah, we planned such good things for y'all.
We'll definitely play this game. I'm almost positive she would.
If it's co-op, I want to play with you, Switch. Or a Click. Why did I say Switch? I want to play with you, Miss Click. There we go.
Liam says, OJ, Disney will outbid Microsoft for life.
At some point, we're all going to get owned by everybody, you know? So, yeah, Disney, they all form like Megatron.
I'm gonna spend my Amazon bucks to buy my food from the Disney store.
King says, missing Sean Layden even more. PS5 future is grim. Christian says, I bought Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on PS3 right when I heard the news.
Good man.
Nomad says, much love, Spawncast, Famalam, Jordan. How is the film you're working on? Any new updates? Sean, do a stream of you playing AAA Balan for 12 hours. Misclick, play Resident Evil 7 for your first Resident Evil game in VR.
I would rather die.
Jordan, how's the film you're working on? They asked if you have any updates you're allowed to share.
Well, it's technically not my film, so I can't share any updates or information on legal reasons. But things are moving with it, as well as a bunch of other projects that hopefully by the end of the year can be disclosed and talked about. But as of right now, I can't legally talk about it.
Okay. Ice says, do you think trophies will be erased when PSN shuts down? And is it really that hard to emulate PS3 now with the fast SSD for the PS5? I would take 20% of the games working on the PS5. I think they could get PS3 games working, because we've seen people running literally through a Patreon get PS3 games working on a PC, but it still takes time, effort, and money. And I don't know if they really feel like dedicating that to a team when they could just use that money to buy exclusivity for Final Fantasy 16, for example. Matt Anumi says, salute to all the Saturday night shift workers out there. What are the chances we get 2 to 4 more fighters outside of Fighters Pass 2 and Smash Ultimate? What do you think, OJ? Is this it? We get another one.
It needs to be it. I hope it's it. No more. The game has 80 characters. Enough is enough. We don't need any more characters.
Big old hundo.
I'm saying 100.
It's done.
No.
It's over. Sakurai. I mean, if you guys want something else, if you guys want a new Kid Icarus or him to make a new IP, he needs to stop making characters, because he's been working on this now for how many years? It's been 3 years after we're going on the 3rd year of Smash Ultimate, and he's still making DLC
since launch. That's not even beforehand.
So, yeah, I mean, like enough is enough, guys. Like,
get him honestly, on the Smash. We need some Kid Icarus stuff.
Yeah, we need some Kid Icarus, or we need some. Maybe he gets to go. Maybe they let him resurrect. I don't know, Golden Sun, or I don't know. Give him something else to do. Something. outside of Smash Brothers. But enough is honestly, enough is enough, guys.
I'm ready for people to stop asking me who I want the next Smash character to be.
What do you want?
I'm really ready for it to be over.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward
ready.
to. Who you going with?
You know what? It's so bad that everybody that plays online, like the people that do, it's like, yo, I only see this many. I only see this character. I only see this character. I never run into that character because there's like 5,000 characters. So everybody plays something different. And it's like, I don't even use 70% of the roster. Like most of the characters I don't even
for
use.
Smash?
Huh?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That could be big.
You throw kids at them with different outfits?
True.
Beer Cave text says RGT makes a pretty good point about subconsciously being influenced. I mean, you wouldn't want to get Philip Houston, am I right? I'll be here all week. Lewis says, Scott the Waz says no to all digital. Still Alive says, want to take this time to plug Adventures of Mana, which is digital only Vita and is the only 3D remake of Final Fantasy Adventure Mana series. Robert says Legend of Dragoon, Onimusha 1, 2, and 3, and Shadow Hearts are the 3 I would pay remasters for. Bluepoint would do all of them justice. Mr. Job says in all digital, will Sony Microsoft allow third-party marketplaces? I don't think so. I think they'll want to just everything goes through them. That's the all-encompassing plan. You got to go through them. Pixelated Pigeon says, thoughts on the AEW game since their product is much more acrobatic dynamic. Do the wrestling game fans amongst you think the game can successfully modernize the famous Aki engine and fundamentals?
Yes, because when you look at the Aki engine, I mean, there was a whole bunch of things you could do. You know, it was one of the first games where you could do things like run and do dives to the outside, top rope moves. There was top rope specials as well. There was stuff like in WCW NWO Revenge where you were playing as DDP. Think of how many variations of the diamond cutter you could do. You could do a diamond cutter off the top rope as a finisher. You could throw them into the ropes, elevate them, and catch them and do it. I know people who are working on the game. I know people who are actually doing the motion capturing for the game as well. And yeah, it's because when you look at No Mercy, look at all the No Mercy hacks there are. People have been hacking moves into No Mercy for years, and you could do all sorts of crazy shit in those games now. So I have complete confidence that they're going to make a really good game because the people that are involved in it are gamers and they know what they're doing as far as that aspect is concerned.
Ross says Sega was announced as the highest rated publisher for Metacritic for last year, primarily on the back of Atlas. What do you think Atlas is doing this year, especially with Persona 25th anniversary? I would hope that they're putting some of the older Persona games just on PC and other platforms.
True.
Just get all the legacy Persona games, just start moving them around.
There's a service called Game Pass.
That would be so. There's that rumor about Persona going to Game Pass, and I feel like it's Strikers, but it'd be interesting if they just started grabbing a lot of Persona games and started dropping them all over Game Pass. Like 3, 4 golden, just start grabbing them and dropping them on there.
I kind of, and maybe this is not a popular opinion, but I kind of hope that they just say the name Persona 6 at some point, because I think the gap between mainline Persona games is always so big. I kind of think with so many people jumping on board with 5 and a lot of people seemingly loving the hell out of Strikers, I kind of just hope they come out and say, yeah, Persona 6 is in the oven for later.
I'll have to say, please don't. Atlas is really bad with announcing things 10 years in advance.
Yeah.
The lead up to Persona 5, like we started talking about that at like the beginning of the PS3 era, and it came out in 27. Like not the beginning of the PS3 era,
yeah, that's easy.
It took way too long, man. So I feel you, because like I know like people want to get Persona 6 out there, but I would like them to talk about it more when they're ready.
Yeah, that's it. I think, dude, I'll be honest, I'm still so high off of Strikers. Strikers was such a good experience. Now I'm like, I want them to tell me more about Persona now.
If they did, I'd be like, oh my god, Persona! I'd be the hype too, right? But then in the back of my mind, I'd be like, oh wait a minute,
yeah,
that means it's coming out 5 years later.
They're gonna Metroid Prime 4. It's gonna be a logo in space.
So
yeah. Persona 4 Golden, though, move that to other platforms, because there are probably a lot of people who tried out Persona 5 as like their first one, and they'd be interested in that too.
Yeah, dude, I'd buy Golden on Switch. I'd buy it on PS4. I'd buy it on everything. Seriously.
Give me it, Atlas.
Okay, let's go ahead and draw the winner for this.
I hope it's me because I entered.
I did it. Did you really?
Fuck yeah.
You already have one.
I'm not opening this.
Oh.
You're a savage. Can you put the box up against your controller RGT and see if it'll still work? If you could redeem the amiibo.
The winner is entry 329, Sean Long.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's not Sean Long. The winner is Manny Garcia. Entry 329.
Nice.
You know what's
Shout out
weird?
to me.
Where are they messaging you at?
His name is Manny, and I'm listening to the Big Timers right now. Manny
I
Fresh.
have their email here. If they're in chat, it'd be good to know that they're still here. Let's see. If they're in chat, Manny, if you want to just go ahead and drop a message in there, but we will email this email account here just to verify. And I guess if we don't hear anything back in like a day or two, we'll just draw again and then email the next person until somebody finally responds.
Just watch the Twitter for if we update that or something.
Yeah. So awesome. All right, very cool. Congratulations to Manny for winning the really cool Magnamalo amiibo that is apparently very expensive now online. And I still have some Streamlabs and a couple more super chats to do, but why don't we go around here and start doing some outros as we're past the top of the hour now. Let's go over to Miss Click. You start us off. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me here on YouTube as Miss Click Gaming, or I'm live almost every day on Twitch as well, Miss Click _live. Other than that, you can find me on social media. It's just as Miss Click. I'd love to see you around sometime.
And let's go to Nate. And let's go to Jordan.
I think Nate's back now. Nate, you want to go?
And let's go to Jordan.
All right. This thing's lighting up. Yeah, I've a bunch of stuff that's going on. Glad to be here. Thank you again for 40,000 on YouTube. Making some more content coming up, so I appreciate the support on it. And tomorrow on the Whatnot app, which if you don't know what that is, it's an app where people can open up Pokemon cards and you can bid on packs. I'm doing a charity event with some of the biggest names in Pokemon. We're opening, thanks to Pokemon Radar, a Japanese base set booster box, which has about 60 packs in there. Bunch of creators are going to be there. Even people like Steve Aoki is going to be there. We're doing it to benefit some charities. So check that out if you're interested.
Awesome.
Jordan, I do want to say my daughter loved your Rugrats video, so she wanted me to make sure that she told me to tell you that she liked it a lot.
Well, I appreciate it. Tell her I said thank you.
Awesome. Liam says there was a report that something big akin to Mario on PlayStation in scale was coming to the Switch. That was like 2 years ago and nothing has happened. I'm assuming it was probably Halo or Game Pass related. Whatever happened to that? Yeah, that's a good question.
I think that quote came out and it turned out that it was misattributed and it was referencing Astro, I thought. Am I wrong? I thought that's what that turned out, that's what that quote was about.
I'm not sure. I think people were assuming it might have been Halo or something like that. Nothing ever happened from it, so, or it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. Maybe things got hung up in the background. Stud Muffin says Balon Wonderworld is the game of our generation. Hideo Kojima is said to have cried during his playthrough of the game. GameStop stocks only went up to the moon in anticipation for its masterpiece. 6910 Metacritic reviews across the board. Then Stud Muffin follows up saying, I went to Nintendo New York store on Friday to pick up the Monster Hunter Pro controller, only to wait in line and be told there were no more controllers left.
Ooh,
Square only had like 2 in stock. That was a disappointing subway ride home. And then Stud Muffin follows up. One last thing, Spawn, love Newswave and your teardowns. OJ, love catching your streams. Nate, your podcast is great. Dreamcast, my guy, my condolences for Balon Wonderworld, but don't worry, your Vampire Lady drawing is coming along nicely. I'll DM soon an update.
Yeah, he's doing he's been DMing me. He's doing a big picture of the Vampire Lady catching me and me enjoying it. It's gonna be great. Watch my Twitter.
Man Cave says, hey Spawncast, what is a good banger I can be excited for on the PS5? Out already or coming out?
Oh, Ratchet.
I mean, Resident Evil. We assume Village is going to be good.
No.
Go to the. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy. Go look at Returnal. Just did a tweet that's like 4 minutes of gameplay. Returnal. Yeah. I think Returnal. That looks like it is going to be the April banger.
God, I wish that was mouse and keys. I wish it was mouse and keys.
I'm going to put one out there, okay, that I think's flying under the radar right now, but I think it's looking pretty interesting. I'm going to say Biomutant.
Okay.
Biomutant.
Yeah, I saw a little bit about that. Yeah, I haven't watched. Didn't they just drop a new long trailer?
They've been dropping more and more gameplay about it. They delayed it because they wanted to spend more time and they were granted more time. And I think that's going to be a game that I'm not going to say it's game of the year or anything, but I think it'll be interesting for how much or how little marketing it's really gotten talk. So I think it'd be a fun game. So that's another one. Just keep an eye on, see how the reviews go for it. Vaporeon says, what if they update Pokemon Sword and Shield with DLSS and the tree actually looks good? So it'll go from like a Nintendo 64 tree to like a GameCube tree then.
Ooh, that's worth it.
Reese Pisa says, hey, Spawncast, I recently just got a new 2DS XL, and I was wondering what games you guys recommend. I already know about the Mario, Zelda's, Fire Emblems, Kid Icarus, Ace Attorneys.
Your Metroid.
Pokemon Crystal. A lot of that people forget this, but the old Pokemon games, the batteries are dead on them. A lot of the really original Gen 1, Gen 2, you can't play them on original hardware. Playing them on a 2DS, honestly, they're super crisp. The music out of those speakers is fantastic, and they're pretty dang cheap.
Click is right there. The Metroid. Metroid's a good one.
I also highly recommend the original Bravely Default. I think that game is phenomenal on there. So yeah, check that game out too. Check that game. And there's two of them. There's Bravely Default and Bravely Second End Layer. So they're both pretty good. The first one's better than the second one, but whatever.
Redbeard says, new Turtles game looks amazing. Can't wait. Maybe a stream of Spawncast playing. Love the show. PS start with RE1. The hallway is a must experience.
I am down to
you.
With you guys. You guys want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, as long as it has good online multiplayer and everything, yeah, that'd be really
fun. Multiplayer.
That'll be good.
Link's Hero says, physical versus digital has become a bigger issue for me this generation. Digital is more convenient on the Switch, and the PS5, PS4 basically gives you a download even with a physical copy. It makes me question my sanity every time I change games. Yeah, the convenience factor is there, I will admit. Let's go to Sean, RGT. Where can they find you?
You can find me on RGT85. A very fun video went up on the channel today of myself, Spawnwave, Nate, and Hey Jay, who's a big Monster Hunter guy, playing Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch multiplayer. A lot of singing, a lot of obscure references to things that might fly over your head, but you might find it funny if you get the references. Good video. I recommend checking it out. Tomorrow, I'm trying to finish up a video that I've been trying to do for a while on the Sharp Twin Famicom. I think I've pretty much got it outlined though to how I want it. So be on the lookout for that. And then hopefully Retromania hits the Switch this week because I really want to talk about that freaking game.
Awesome. Let's go over to OJ.
Yeah, thanks for having me on once again. It's always awesome hanging out with you guys every Saturday. Yeah, I mostly stream here on YouTube. I also edit content as well. Do video game stuff, so you guys can catch me on there streaming pretty much every day. I got some cool stuff coming up. I got some guides coming up for some Switch games that I think that'd be fun to go over, and some other discussion pieces, so it should be a lot of fun, plus a cool little giveaway, PS5 and some other stuff that we're doing on the channel, giving away a lot of games, having a lot of fun with our streams. So yeah, just check me out whenever you can on YouTube at Player Essence. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Once again, we had a lot of people from the Spawncast come over and from a lot of you guys' community, so I just want to make sure that I say thank you guys so much for giving me the chance to talk with you guys every single week, man.
Awesome. Castlemania Games says cheers. Toshiron says managed to buy the AC cards from Target online just to find out they sold my order to people in the electronics section. Also was able to get Monster Hunter Rise at Walmart for $50. Walmart's still doing that, by the way. They have the game still marked down by like $10 or so. So definitely a good spot to go to get discount on the games. Zima says, if you're willing to emulate, you can get achievements for retro games. The dedication in the emulation community is amazing. Shinru says, I asked this on OJ stream if we see a collaboration with Monster Hunter Rise and Nintendo, which franchise should cross over. Breath of the Wild makes the most sense, but I would love to see Pokemon in there. Breath of the Wild makes a lot of sense if they want to put like Link in there in the game.
That would be awesome. Oh my God.
James says, I know this 30 minutes ago, but that disc on the Saturn pad needs revisited. It's legit the best non-analog pad.
Thank you. Holy shit.
Boo.
King says Among Us to Xbox this year is Phil Spencer sus. Chad says, do you guys think that the Series S will get a mid-cycle refresh? Shout out to RGT85.
Yo.
They'll probably do something with it. I mean, it might be smaller, believe it or not. So Sack on 10 says, how does Melty Blood compare to Under Night or GG?
I haven't played they're fighting games. I haven't played those.
I have not either. Angelo says Nintendo will patch for Switch Plus. Labo got patches. I think there'll be some patches for the
duct tape on some cardboard.
There you go. See? Jeff Grubbs Game Mess says, I love you, Nate.
Right back at you, Slick.
Buckeye says, with the release of Pyra and Smash getting a lot of publicity and the Switch having a ton of JRPGs on the system, will Monolith Soft go back to an old IP like Bat and Kato's series and try to revive it?
An old IP? He said Bat and Kaitos?
Bat and Kato's, yeah.
No. They're not going to go back. If anything, what they're going to do, they would rebrand it maybe as like a new IP or something, but I don't see them going back to any of the old stuff that they did before. Yeah. I see them sticking with Xeno, or I see them trying out something brand new.
Brand new would be interesting for them.
Yeah, I think something new. Baten Kaitos is awesome, but it's a turn-based card RPG. I just don't think there's much, I mean, you could sell it, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Dr. Claw says, my basis theory is a Pro launches next year with Pokemon Legends and has Breath of the Wild 2 as the holiday title. Both games optimized for the new hardware. Joe says, when are you guys going to have 8-Bit Eric as a guest? You can have 8-Bit Eric as a guest. You can get a hold of him, right, Sean?
Yeah, I talk to him every day.
There you go. And Alcatraz says, will any of you get 6 days in Fallujah? I don't know yet.
I looked at some of the stuff. I mean, it looks like more of a publicity stunt than a game. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna check the reviews on that one because I don't really know how much is actually gonna be, like, how deep that game is gonna be in terms of content.
Here's the thing, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but whatever.
Hang on, let me zoom in on you real quick. There you go.
I watched the trailer because I believe there's only one trailer out, right?
There's some gameplay recently too for it.
The narration.
Yeah, the narrated trailer. And it's like, I understand the underlying. Here's what I don't like about it. You have a game developer trying to cancel a game. And yes, maybe you're tired of that story being told. A lot of people are tired of that story being told. An American military, regime going into a foreign country and taking out people.
Specifically this, they murdered a lot of very innocent people and nobody ever went to jail, which is why a lot of people specifically don't like this event.
Once again, it's still just a story being told, whether it's rooted in reality or not. I don't. If it's some rando on the internet, like, I get it, but to have the person working on Gotham Knights, one of the main producers of it, trying to cancel another game because they don't like the subject material, that's a very slippery slope for me. And, if anything, it just brings more awareness to the game because honestly, I knew nothing about the game.
Yep.
And
I think the biggest thing they're going to run into.
And then I saw this dude tweeting about it and all these people like, I'm going to sign the change.org petition because those really get shit done, change.org petitions. And then I looked at the game and I was like, well, I mean, I get your sentiment, but it's kind of like, if I don't like this game and I don't like the story being told within this game, I'm not going to play this game. I'll play Monster Hunter Rise instead. Because,
you're right though, Sean. They're going to have a lot of publicity has been hitting that game, and I see it talked about way more than it probably should be based on what they. I
was not paying attention to I would have never watched the trailer.
Like it doesn't look like a Game of the Year material or something that should be all over the timeline for the game itself. So like I feel like they're doing it on purpose because the controversy will.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're stirring it up. It's blood money. They're selling this on actual murder, and it's going to shock value, and they'll sell a couple copies. I'm curious where all it gets banned from. I'm kind of curious of like if IGN ends up releasing some big statement of like, we've chosen to officially not review the game. Like, I'm curious how far that outrage goes.
Well, IGN's doing like all the coverage on it.
I know, and people are mad as hell about that.
And someone in the chat disagrees with me. That's okay. You're allowed to disagree with my opinion. It's just my opinion how I see things with this game. Because I would have never looked at the trailer for this game. I would have never looked for more information on the game if it wasn't for that the Twitter campaign and the change.org petition getting steam from this individual trying to make it gain steam. I would have never, because then you sort of want to see, well, what's all the hubbub about,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to pass ratings board most likely in all of this, and
I'm sure
let it release it. So
I mean, remember No Russian? No,
Yep.
you don't
Yeah,
remember that? Like,
well, but that was still fictionalized. That was the thing about this is that it was actual American soldiers actually shooting children in the head and stuff. And now there's a video game about that. And it's kind of like, oh, that feels a little bit weird to especially remove that. You know,
They're gonna glorify it, by the way.
Oh yeah,
It's not gonna be told the way that it's supposed to be told. It's gonna be told in the way that they feel like it, and that's where people are having a problem.
We were the heroes. We went in there and saved. Yeah, we murdered them in self-defense.
Well, I mean, there's also the fact that
go ahead,
well, it's also the fact that the map's like randomized and stuff like that too. So it's just like, oh, what, we're erasable NPCs, like with no actual like context or you know, it's just
and that's why
it's a weird way all around the whole thing.
I honestly think that the trailer's gameplay looks decent, and that's why it's weird. It's like, if you guys could make a good game, just don't put that name on it. Just
honestly, from what they showed, the game doesn't really look that like interesting. I don't know,
doesn't look that good.
I like the randomized map. Okay. When I saw that randomized map, I thought it was going to be. I'm picturing like a gunny roguelike. Like, imagine every time you turn it on, it rearranges the map, rearranges the mission. I like the idea of that, but the fact that it's this topic and that timeline, ugh.
I think there's just a lot of reliance on the controversy to sell it. So literally, if a lot of people just ignored the game, it would probably just come out and then go away, and it probably wouldn't even sell that well.
Yeah.
Hatred.
Yep.
That game, I refuse. I looked at it, I was like, this is horrible. I will never play this game. And it ended up coming out, right?
Yeah, sold. I think it actually sold well too.
It's coming to the Switch.
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy?
I refuse to play that. Just if you don't like something, obviously you can not play it. But I mean, since this is rooted in real life, it's a little bit different. But just don't play something if you really just feel like it's not, you know. Something. That's kind of how I feel, because that game Hatred, I don't like the topic of it. I mean, I know the game, but still, man.
You wouldn't like Postal either.
Do you know that Hatred made so much money? That's the people who made Daymare.
Also, I remember Nate, you mentioned the 6 Days in Fallujah thing as waiting for more information on it. I think that's also correct, because I just feel like there's been like pieces of it shown, and I mean, who knows what the game's really going to be like when it comes out. But
I mean, even as more information comes out, they kind of contradict their previous statements. One of their initial statements was,
whole thing.
"Oh, you know, we're going to honor the actual story," and then their second statement is, "We're not going to have any of the political aspects of it." Well, it's either one or the other. It can't be. It can't be both.
You can't tell a war story accurately.
Yeah, non-political war.
Yeah, it seems like they're actually really going out of their way to be, as has been said, they want to be controversial. They want to be in the news. And you as the outlet have to choose of saying, we're just not going to give them that space anymore. And if you don't, this game's going to fade away. No one's going to know it exists. It's going to release. It's going to be forgotten. When you continue to put it in the headlines, like IGN, you have an article that interviews tons of people, developers, people in the Middle East, and they gave their feelings. And then just this past week, they had it on IGN Unfiltered, where they were in a completely different take on the game, where they were praising certain aspects of it. It's kind of like, okay, what tone are you as the outlet trying to go for with this game? And I understand if you as the outlet want to go on both sides of it, but it really feels like that type of game. If you want to cover it, get as much information as you can, but hold the developers accountable for what they're saying. If you come out and say, we don't want to make a political statement, but their prior statement is, we're going to make a political statement, get that interview, ask the tough question, hold them accountable, and get the truth out of them. If this is just them pulling some publicity stunt,
I kind of feel like the game's going to come out. It's not going to be anything amazing or anything like that. It's going to be very average, and it's literally just going to ride the controversy for a couple million.
It's probably
copies
going to do exactly that, because you're going to have the people who come out who are against it, and that's going to spark interest from those who just want to go against that crowd. So they're going to buy the game out of protest.
Exactly.
Well, no, as soon as like outlets decide to like, because I think there's gonna be some that are probably like, we're just not gonna review this game, and people are like, well, why aren't they reviewing the game? Maybe I should go buy it and find out why they're not reviewing the game or something like that. I could see that happening, little things like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not following it that closely, because it just looks like another, I would say, below average Call of Duty from what I've seen so far. But we'll see what happens when it comes out. And wait, we got to follow up with this one after Nate. So Chris Best says Nate is an industry plant. Do not trust his lies.
I'm an industry plant.
They figured it out.
Y'all getting brave with these really cheap super chats.
Well, actually, one thing I do want to expand upon on the.
To be fair, Sean had an industry plant too, though. He didn't make it long. He hate it. Go ahead, Nate.
One thing with the toxicity is, yes, I mentioned a lot of like coming to a corporation's defense. The toxicity is also on the other side, where I'll just use Octopath as an example, where they say, oh, it's coming to Game Pass, it's coming to the Xbox, where you'd have PC or Nintendo fans be like, so what? We had it for 2 years. Good for you. Who gives a shit when you get it? Be happy that a new audience gets the chance to play the game. The toxicity is also that, where you have fans of a certain brand attacking an Xbox, a Sony, a Nintendo fan because a game came to their system, or that they're excited about a game. Like, you could be excited about, we'll say, Balan Wonderland, whatever the hell it's called.
Oh,
Let's think of a good game. Monster Hunter Rise. And then you'll have Xbox and PlayStation 4 fans be like, yeah, but we had Monster Hunter World for a couple of years. Good for you. How does me enjoying Rise take away the enjoyment you had with World? It doesn't. Why can't we just enjoy the Monster Hunter franchise on our respective platforms? It's that toxicity, both the negative and the positive, that is just harboring this constant, distasteful, unpleasant aura in the community. You can enjoy the game. And if another platform happens to get the game 6 months later, let them enjoy the game now. You don't have to be like, oh, I've had it for a while. Get over yourself.
You find some coffee over there, Nate?
all right. So before he says anything else controversial, I'm Dreamcast Guy. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Max. Okay, there we go. Cool. And then we have Hen saying, "Do you think it might be time for some of the older guard in Japan to step back and let the new gen come up?" Thinking Yu Suzuki, Yuji Naka, and Miyamoto especially. Well, Miyamoto gets to work on the theme park right now, so he's already kind of done that now anyway.
Koizumi-san and the other guy, they're young. They're much younger, and they've been doing the Nintendo Directs, and then Miyamoto doesn't do all that. So I don't understand that.
Tijo says Bluetooth audio support in the new Switch. That would be nice.
So I would legit love that.
That'd be cool. And David says Spawn needs to review Balon Wonderworld, co-starring the Hammer. Oof. Hammer has to make a return for that one. DJ says got a Raspberry Pi 4 and wanted to know what games to buy to put as ROMs on it. I would check out the Dreamcast section, because Dreamcast games on a little board like the Raspberry Pi is pretty impressive. Pocket says Suikoden 2 is missing from the PlayStation Vita store, and the old web store is down. I really don't want to be a pirate, but man, Sony has really tested me here. That's an expensive game online to get to, so yeah, that's tough. Aaron says, do any of you think they'll prank us and keep Super Mario 35, or is it just hopeful, wishful thinking? That is hopeful and wishful thinking. That thing is gone in a couple of days. Shinru says, am I the only one who is hoping for a Nintendo 64 or PS2 OG Xbox classic consoles? What games should be there and how much should it retail for? Okay, PS2 and OG Xbox would be interesting, but N64, I would like to see that. 20 games, $100. That'd be nice. Benicera says, awesome cast tonight. Thank you to the crew and community for making Saturday nights great. You are the best. RGT, buy the CRT. I have 7, a BVM, and 2 CRT projectors. Can never have enough CRTs.
If I had the room, it would already be bought, but it's just like, it's literally just going to sit in my game room.
He's saying the room, Sean.
That's kind of a plus in my book, though, Shaunus. It's kind of nice to get that perfect retro TV and then just put it in your retro game room and be like, all right.
I have one already. I got a Tritantron.
Okay, in that case, yeah, don't do it. You're a psychopath.
I literally just want it because I saw it at KB Toys, and I'd be like, hey, Mom, buy me this. And she'd be like, fuck off, because it was expensive. And
see, everybody else. Oh, okay. And Nate, where can everyone find you? So we finish up. I think there's like a few more super chats left, and we're good to go.
Find me on YouTube at Nate the Hate, and on Twitter at Nate the Hate, followed by the number 2. MVG and I will have a podcast up next week. We are hoping to bring on a special guest for the upcoming episode to address this topic with a little bit of an industry insight from people who are well versed in it. So that should be something to look forward to.
Which topic is that?
You'll find out next week, because I kind of need something to happen first.
Oh, hold on.
It's nothing.
Something to happen. Okay, so the podcast is usually on Thursday, right? Okay.
It depends on our schedule.
Okay, well, okay.
Lie.
So when's the when's the podcast this week, Nate? Is it on?
Look at a calendar.
Is it Couple dates here I'm looking at. Well, there's April 1st. I don't know. You're gonna do it on that?
It could be April 1st. It depends on when it happens and when we can schedule with the potential guests for a
like a
recording
joke
session. Could fall to the second. It depends on how things go.
Second's a Friday though. That's interesting. Okay.
Don't try to like set up dates to like some sort of presentation or anything.
A presentation.
Hold
on. Who said a presentation?
Hey, you.
Nintendo isn't announcing the Switch Pro next week.
Wait a minute. What? Whoa. We just had the Switch Pro now. Hold on.
Go on.
All right.
We're waiting for certain things to happen so we can get the guest and then we can set up.
Okay. Hey, there you go, everyone. I guess there's gonna be news this week. There you go.
Maybe we're waiting for something to become official.
Wait, hold on. Become official? Oh, the PlayStation Store has to go down.
If that news becomes official, then we're bringing on a guest to talk about that matter in a very deep way. And if it is going to be legit, according to the article, and Kirk McKeed isn't one to put information out there carelessly. He has a very good track record. I know he's very responsible with the information he puts out. That should be confirmed sometime mid next week. So if it happens, we'll cover that very in depth and deep dive. The actual repercussions. You're
getting Jim Ryan on the podcast.
I thought that's
not Jim Ryan level, not that high.
Shinru says if Nintendo is the only company to do physical games with Hades being available physically as an example, will there be a sales requirement order for any games to be released physically? I don't think so. What was the beginning? If Nintendo is the only company to do physical games with Hades being available physically as an example, will there be a sales requirement order for indie games to be released physically? Like, will it, I guess, have to sell well on like the eShop or something?
Oh, so they're saying does it have to be?
Does it have to be popular enough?
Sales have to have a certain percentage or a certain number to meet the requirements of a physical copy sale. I mean, physical copies have to have a minimum print.
Yes,
I believe Nintendo's 10,000 copies.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. So Hawk says Hollow Knight or Ori for Smash. William says, should I buy a 1 terabyte SD card for my Switch, 150 plus digital games, or an external drive for my PS5? Way too many games to count. I like that. The SD card, the one SD card for the Switch that you don't have to change out is very nice. So I like the idea of the 1 terabyte for the Switch there. Arturo says, what are your thoughts on Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne? Thinking of buying it, but not sure since it's not Call of Duty.
Wow. It's definitely not that.
I would say wait for reviews. Okay, I think we have everything there. We got everyone but Evan. Evan, you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
Follow me over on Kimrick's Project at Twitter. That's where I usually announce when I go live on Twitch, which is usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday during the week. Also, Spawncast clips. Keep pushing that. Those will go up
Spawncast Twitter.
Yeah, and the Spawncast Twitter as well, which is on that side for everyone on the screen. But yeah, Spawncast Clips channel, those episodes, this is going to get chopped up and then spread throughout Wednesday through maybe about like Friday or Saturday. So a little bit more consumable. But yeah, check it out.
Awesome. And Holly asks, will OJ be streaming after the Spawncast tonight?
It's only $1.99. Don't answer.
Well, I mean, that's also a good promotion for his stream if he does stream.
Yeah, I am not streaming, but I'll be streaming tomorrow. We'll be streaming Monster Hunter and talking about video games. So I usually don't Sunday, but I will be streaming on Sunday because I love you all. So yeah.
Okay, very cool. All right, that's going to do it here for a Spawncast. Thanks everyone for joining. Congratulations to Manny for winning the Magnamalo amiibo. Very cool there. We'll get in touch and get that sent out as well. All right, we'll see everyone next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time.